And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, ahoy. Hello. Hi.
Ahoy, matey.
Hi there. Yeah.
And we got an exciting one today.
They just came out with new Sea of Thieves stuff. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But they just came out with new Sea of Thieves stuff.
That's crazy you say that because on my way here, I was listening to the Sea of Thieves soundtrack.
It's pretty good.
So I feel like it's really weird. We have like these weird moments where we're telepathically linked.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this morning I texted you to ask what time we're doing it or whatever.
I literally,
and
when you did that, my phone was in my hand because I was like, I don't know if we talked about a time.
Yep.
And it was like, bling.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. Like, we have those moments like all the time. Like, well, I forget like the actual like what happened, but there was like a point where we were gonna make the same joke or something. Remember that?
Yeah,
like,
we just like
we just look at each other. We didn't have to say it. I forget what the joke was. But we just laughed our ass off because we're like, "Yep, exactly on the same page."
Yeah.
So I guess like recording over 100 episodes in a podcast probably does that.
This is
right? Get to know someone well.
I think this is 120.
Dang.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for this one. Actually, you know what I was looking at too, as I delay more about
what
we're going to actually talk about.
Sure.
So our Pokemon list is coming up soon. We got to do that soon.
Oh, what are we on? Gen 3?
Gen 3. This is so I thought, again, and I have said this before, but I thought Gen 2, like I knew Gen 2 really well.
Yeah.
No, Gen 2 is not one that I do well, although I did play Gen 2. That was like the first one I played. It must have been because I was like really young, which is why I don't remember it that much.
Okay.
So Gen 3 was like my sweet spot.
What did we do? We did a video on Gen 2, right? Like we did it remotely.
Yeah.
And we did the video.
Was it a video?
Yeah. Because it's the only video podcast we put up.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like you almost need that because all it is just ripping on I was ripping on the look of the Pokemon.
Right.
Which I'm going to do doubly now if this is your generation.
This is my generation.
Yeah, so I have to.
Love Gen 3.
Yeah.
Love Gen 3. I say that now and I'm going to not know half of them and be embarrassed again, but.
What's Gen 3? Is that like Diamond?
No, it's Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. We could set up probably like a laptop or something and.
Yeah, we could still be in the same room and stuff and talk through it, but I would want to have some sort of recording of the screen like going through the Pokemon so that we can kind of match it up. Yeah.
Maybe we wait for the new studio. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I also didn't I realized I should say is that we never did a top fives for 2022.
Didn't we?
Yeah, so we did a top fives for 2021, I believe. But not 2022, not for last year.
So now it has to be top 5 2022, 2020.
Yeah, well, or we haven't done a lot of top fives this year though, so
yeah,
maybe not even worth it.
Well, now we're gonna be doing a ton of Game of the Year stuff. So for the next few episodes, well, not in a row, but now till the end of the year is gonna be a lot of Game of the Year talk and
for sure
whatnot.
Yeah, 100%. Which is
I'm assuming you didn't talk to Jeff about that at all yet.
I mentioned it to him.
He down?
He said, "Let me know." Yeah,
Jeff, you down? Good,
dude. He played a lot of games this year.
Yeah,
so I'm really curious.
Well, I was worried that he wasn't going to play Alan Wake, but he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So
I wasn't going to play Alan Wake, and then I
thought you were playing Dave the Diver because you sent a picture of.
I
Dave
bought
the
both
Diver.
because my thought process was so I was sitting there on like a Friday night or something or like a weeknight something.
Yeah,
and like it's that classic conundrum where it's like you just finished Spider-Man or something. It's like you're looking at your Steam library.
Yeah.
And it's like an empty void and feeling of dread where it's like I could play literally any number of games, but nothing's speaking to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I almost played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What a mistake that would be. But
that'd be great.
That would be. Well, I don't want to admit that game's good. I'm terrified of playing that game because I am afraid I'm going to love it.
Oh.
If I'm being honest.
You know
what I mean? Like, I know I'm going to, as soon as I get to teleport to the spear, I'm like, fuck, I'm in.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I wanted to get you to.
I know.
So it'd be like, oh, it's just
I don't like
fun.
that, though. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I want to hate that game. I just want to love my Assassin's Creed.
I think
clutch my pearls.
The only the only thing that I would say is I don't know if playing Assassin's Creed right off of Spider-Man is like like you get 2 like third person adventure games back to back. It's like
a little too much.
That's a little tough. And Spider-Man is such a different. Like you're flying through a city, you're traversing at like ridiculous speeds and stuff. And Assassin's Creed's a little bit slower, stealthy. Obviously, it's
grounded. Yeah.
Well, grounded. I mean, yes, you're literally on the ground, but sure,
in the literal sense.
Yeah,
grounded.
Assassin's Creed is closer to like a Shadow of Mordor type of thing than anything.
Love Shadow of Mordor. Yeah. That was a great rec.
Yeah,
I loved that game. That game was, dude. I spent so much time in the first like city before the game even like opens up.
Yeah.
And you like actually get like the sieging mechanic. I spent hours just
that's what I mean, and it's
capturing
weird because
everything.
The sieging mechanics in Assassin's Creed, again not to the extent, but like the Nemesis system is somewhat there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like you could see where here are some ideas getting kind of like spun off, and I think Odyssey came out definitely after Mordor. I don't know if Shadow of War, but. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So anyways, I was about to play that game. And I was like, you know what? I was looking at the Game Awards nominations that came out, obviously, which is what we're going to talk about today. And Alan Wake's up for a ton of things. And I'm like, I told Tyler I don't want to play Alan Wake. I just
you
don't.
Tell me you never want to play any game.
I don't. That's not true. I just don't do well with horror.
Yeah.
And that spooky stuff, it's just like I'm just not built for it, man. And I was like, but it's like up for everything. And then you were saying how good it looked, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I should just do it. I should just put on my brave pants.
Well, it was funny because you send me a text message. It's a picture of Dave the Diver, and I'm like, oh heck yeah,
yeah.
Like I can't wait to see what you think of that because I really like it. I think Jeff really likes it. I would love to have a discussion on Dave the Diver.
Yeah.
Like, do I think he's like top of the charts or whatever? But would I love to have an in-depth discussion about that for Game of the Year? Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next text I get from you or something like, Tyler, I'm crapping my pants. It's just like, okay. So I'm like, guess Alan Wake?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, so I bought both because the thought process was I wanted to play Dave the Diver because I know how much you really love that game and I want to be able to have that conversation. But I was like, I should play Alan Wake too. It looks really good. It's up for so many things. I should intelligently be able to talk about it. So I bought that, and then I was like, and then we'll do Dave the Diver after.
It's like a little palate cleanser, like
huge palate cleanser. While
calm
I'm like
down,
shaking in my boots. I can just sell some sushi or whatever you do in that game. I saw some crazy shit in the trailer of Dave the Diver. Like this underwater city or something. Yep. I was like, what the fuck? I thought this was about diving.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So. And there's a little controversy around Dave the Diver, though, in terms of the game. We'll get to it. But, I'm interested to hear your thoughts about it.
I know there was controversy, so I'm excited for you to tell me about it.
But anyways, as aforementioned, we will be discussing Game of the Year. The nominations just came out last week, I believe.
Yeah.
Actually, man,
I guess it's been a week.
Yeah, well, by the time this comes out, it's been a week, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to just go through. I think we did this last year. Talk about the nominations and maybe speak to what we feel should win, personally.
Out of these nominations.
Right. Well, look, I think mentioning any snubs, too. I'm definitely
I got
prepared.
some snubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
can't wait to talk about Stray.
Stray
Lord. Part 2.
Stray Part 2.
All right, continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So we're just going to go through. We're going to go through backwards. So if you're following along at home, GameAwards.com, we're going to start from the last category and moving our way forward because they start with Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Which is super anticlimactic, especially if you're like reviewing it. I think it makes sense though, because maybe some people just vote for that.
Yeah,
so
you want to hit them with like like if it just kind of trails off like that. It makes sense. I get it.
The voting doesn't matter though, right? Like, it's got to be like 10% or something.
I wonder if it matters because it was based off of the judges. I wonder if the judges nominate and then there's like a people's choice or something.
Oh yeah, you might be right. I think
it would have to be because there's no way like it takes 2 wins.
It's got to be like a tiebreaker. It's got to be like a tiebreaker or something. I don't know. I just don't think it's somewhere. Like I don't think the people have a lot of power in these votes.
About as much power as American Idol does.
The golden joysticks, though, I think are all just fan votes.
Sure.
So a little different there. But all right, anyways, we're gonna get through this. So like I said, we're on GameAwards.com. Starting with the last category going forward, we'll talk about each of the nominations and just give some of our thoughts. So
can't wait for you to start pronouncing all these names.
Yep. Best esports event, right? So you want me to read the description as well? Just so we can...
Yeah, I think it's good for context.
Yeah, so recognizing an event across single or multiple days that delivered a best-of-class experience for participants and the broadcast audience. We have League of Legends World Championships 2023, Blast TV Paris Major, which I think is that CSGO? I think that's CSGO.
Sure.
EVO 2023, that's a fighting game, obviously. Dota 2 Championships and Valorant Championships. Okay, I'm biased. League's always the best, but
yeah,
I will say EVO was pretty popping this year. And one thing about EVO 2 is that there's game announcements. So I think they were showing off Tekken and stuff. So that's like you kind of
add a little
bonus there, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. I don't think like for me. CSGO is tough because there's a lot of different tournaments throughout the year, whereas like something like a Dota or a League of Legends there's like one big event at the end of the year. And Dota sucks, so I'm talking about League of Legends pretty much. So, but I could see EVO winning. I would vote for League personally because I'm biased.
See, I would vote for League as well because I think watching all of them, I enjoy watching League the most. And I don't even understand what's going on. I just think that the announcers are really good. And I think that it's exciting where it's like, because I don't understand what's going on, hearing people start getting like really like pumped up. It's all like contextual and things like that. It's like, I don't know what's happening, but it's cool. You get caught up in it.
Yeah.
The Evo's kind of cool because it's like you just admire the amount of, I don't know, talent they have as far as like fighting games, different things like that.
Right.
And if they're going like towards like the very last second or whatever, like the crazy comebacks are cool, stuff like that. Dota is essentially like League. It's just I'm more familiar with League, and then CSGO and Valorant. It's like, I don't know. I think Call of Duty is cooler to watch than CSGO and Valorant, personally.
Yeah. No, I think CSGO and Valorant are very good. Valorant, very, very popular. I think they're doing extremely well with that. Again, I'm just extremely biased. Also, I will say League of Legends World Championships this year, fantastic. Faker in the finals again, carrying SKT. I think they're just T1 now. This guy is the greatest of all time. That's all I'm going to say. So essentially what happened is quick recap on League. I wanted to talk about this in the past weeks, but
I love how we were like, we're just going to blow through these real quick.
I know. Well, trust me, the next couple. Anyways, so China has been dominating this year. So in the semifinals, it was three Chinese teams out of the four, and then one Korean team. Now, Worlds is being held in Korea this year. So it was like this cool dynamic of Korea versus the world. Well, pretty much China.
Sure.
It's like their backs against the wall. And then they upset China's number one seed, who was going for the first, it's called the Golden Road, where you win your regional championships, the mid-season invitational, which is like mini worlds in the middle of the year, and then summer, your regional championship, and then worlds. So 4 pieces.
So that was and they won.
They won
first
3 out of the 4.
Yeah.
No one's ever won all of them. And SKT, it was an amazing series. Faker, literally, it was like vintage 2015 Faker, dude. Just unbelievable Azir play, crazy. It's like him versus Ruler. It was awesome. So League Worlds,
sure.
the finals is tonight. By the time you're listening to this, it's over. But I might be staying up till 3 a.m. when it starts, and I'm excited, dude. I love Faker. I mean, he's like the GOAT. So
who is he play? So he beat the number 1 seed.
He beat the number 1 seed.
And he has 2 other Chinese teams to beat.
No, he's got 1. So this is the finals. So
he beat 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So it's China. I think it's their 4th seed. So it's a really interesting, like an underdog 4th seed China team
versus an underdog Korean team.
Well, it's Korea's 2nd seed, but like Korea was like, it was like Korea versus everyone, or it was like T1 versus everyone. It was really cool. It was a really cool dynamic. I will say the Chinese team that's in the finals beat the American team. So it's like, okay, at least we got beat by the people who were in the finals, right?
Sure.
Because we were embarrassed because it was like their
their last
fourth
team.
seed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. But all right, esports event. That was category 1. I did this last year too, where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna breeze through these.
Do you have a list up, or are you on the site?
I'm on the site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to put our predictions down?
I have already voted, but
well, so did I. But do you want to?
Oh yeah. So I mean,
here.
I guess that's an interesting clarification too. So are we putting what we think will win or what we want to win?
I voted for what I wanted to win.
Okay.
Thinking you think Evo's going to win?
I think it has a chance. It's either going to be League or Evo, in my opinion, with a dark horse of Valorant.
Okay, well, you can't.
Dark
3
horse.
out of the 5 options or whatever.
No, dark horse.
All right, I'm thinking it's League.
Okay. All right, so best esports coach. The esports coach judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023. So we have Potter, Zonic, Gunba, XTQZ, and Home. I don't know any of these.
Yep, I have no idea.
Any of them. So I will say people were talking about Zonic. He's Team Falcons for Counter-Strike.
Sure.
So my vote's for Zonic.
Great.
I heard some chatter about him. Okay, best esports team. So this is recognizing a specific esports team, not the full organization. It has in parentheses because there was some controversy with some of that.
The best team that's... What do you mean not organization? So like not the League of Legends organization?
So not the whole org. Like if their org did something controversial...
You could still have a good team.
Like a team. Like it's just like their performance, I guess. Or like the players specifically, right?
Gotcha. So if you have a League of Legends team by, I don't know, Fnatic.
Yeah.
That's
one of
thing,
them.
Right? So if Fnatic screwed up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You could still... Okay.
I don't know which org did, but I guess someone did.
Sure.
So that's hilarious to me. All right. Evil Geniuses from Valorant. Fnatic from Valorant. Gaming Gladiators from Dota 2, JD Gaming League of Legends, Team Vitality, Counter-Strike. So, JD Gaming was, for League, China's #1 seed that was going for the perfect year. Now, they lost, so in my opinion, they shouldn't win this. So I wouldn't vote for them.
Did other people get 3 out of the 4 then?
What's that?
That's happened before? Like, is
I think that's happened.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's happened before, but no one's ever had a perfect year.
That's like what, NFL, Dolphins? Right?
Dolphins, yeah.
Yep. See?
Perfect.
I know things.
There's an asterisk there, though, because the season was much shorter. So if you actually look at it, like the Patriots in 2008 won more games in a row than the Dolphins.
Nah.
They went, I guess, 17-1. But you weren't perfect.
Yeah, you weren't perfect.
I
don't know.
No, 100%.
And then 20 years from now when the games are even more...
or
less,
we have
like
25 games a year. Yeah. Till Goodell just ensures that everyone has brain damage, like just playing 25 games a year. Yeah. So I can only speak to League, and I don't think they should win. So it's really toss up after that. Who do I think would win? I can't even say. There's 2 Valorant teams on here, which is weird. Maybe it's a Valorant team.
I don't know.
Right.
I didn't vote for that. I
didn't
vote for any of these.
Right. I'll say Fnatic, Valorant, just a guess. Best esports athlete. The esports athlete judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023, irrespective of game. We have Faker, we have Zywoo, Demon, Hydra, Ruler, and Philip.
Does that ever does that make you wish your name like John XP? Like that's your moniker, right? Like that's what you would go. Go by. So it'd be like
at this point, I think I'd just stick with it.
You're on that list,
I'm on it.
And then it's just like John XP.
Yeah, it's like look how lame his name is, but he's one of the best esports athletes in the world.
See, Wolfengar's pretty cool. Like I like that. But
Wolfengar's great. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a great esports name is an art form.
Yeah.
It's got to be like short, but I don't even know like the components that make a great name, but like when you see one, you know it.
I mean, the component is you're really good at it.
Yeah,
and then people
the skill
just like
will always
regardless.
Trump the the name. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But obviously Faker should win this.
Obviously, he strapped the Korean team to his back and carried them through.
Literally. Well, he was out during the year because he had wrist problems, and they were awful when he was gone.
And so he just comes back.
He comes back, and they just go all the way to the finals. It's crazy.
I mean, it's awesome.
Literally 1v9. He's the best to ever do it. But to be fair, I don't watch any of this other shit. So that's my vote. Especially if he wins tonight, that should be a lock. If he wins tonight.
Oh, you mean yeah? I wonder how that works, right? So that's up for voting.
Yeah, but I don't think the judges have voted yet. So it's like
right. But isn't that kind of weird though? Where it's like, how is that almost like fair?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess you could say that with anything.
Yeah, I mean, anyone else. I mean, if there's another tournament going on, right, in another game, you think you can say the same thing, probably.
I'm just saying, like, if it's like you have a recency bias, you have like, this cool, like,
but that always happens.
Story type of thing.
But that always happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's won it, like, probably like 5 of the last 7 years.
Good.
Yeah, he's the best. All right, anyways, moving on. Faker's the best. All right, best esports game. So for a game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. So we have Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and Valorant. Now, Counter-Strike 2 has not even been out. Like, I don't even think they've had a tournament yet, or like maybe
it's kind of a weird thing.
So that it should be just Counter-Strike 1. So that's fucking weird. So I wouldn't even consider that. Dota 2 is trash. PUBG Mobile. Why mobile? That's so strange to me. So to me, it's between Valorant and League. Again, a little biased here, but I could see Valorant winning this. Valorant's been popping off.
Yeah, people love Valorant. I'm gonna go back to what I said originally. Is like I think I enjoy watching League more than Valorant.
No, I've talked about this a lot. I think League as a viewing experience is the best because you view the game in the exact same way that you play it.
Yeah.
It's the same camera angle. You can see everyone and all that's happening, right? Whereas in a first-person shooter, it's very jarring because you're switching between different perspectives. Mm-hmm. And then when you do zoom out to look at the map, it's like that's not an angle you'll ever get in the game. So it's just very, very different. Now, I will say an argument for like an FPS that I was hearing someone make, which makes a lot of sense. Like you could plop anyone down in a Counter-Strike match and they would understand exactly what's going on. They could never play a video game in their life. They could be like, okay, this team versus that team.
The crosshair is
trying to shoot.
They're
just trying to shoot them.
Yeah.
Like even more so than Valorant, because Valorant you have all these powers and stuff, and you're just like, "What the heck's going on?" It's like, no, you can understand. Anyone can understand Counter-Strike, immediately. So I thought that's a good argument.
But they're calling out Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It hasn't been out. It hasn't. Yeah. I don't know, but whatever. So I think it's League.
You know, Valve just put out a documentary for Half-Life. It's like an hour-long thing.
Just about the making of it?
Like the history of it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
You think that means anything?
People are internet.
What happens if they announce Half-Life 3 at this Game Awards?
Never going to happen.
I know, but would it be the craziest thing to ever happen?
At a Game Awards? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like the most...
That would break the internet.
Yeah.
I don't even think you can announce Half-Life 3 at this point because it will never live up to the hype.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, do they actually really do anything at the Game Awards? Like, I guess
Valve?
No, just in general. Like,
there's announcements.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's a lot of announcements.
Are there versus like the E3 stuff?
No, it's pretty 50-50. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people tune in just for the announcements.
I mean, that makes me excited. I'm way more excited for the announcements than.
Yeah.
I just didn't think there was anything like earth shattering.
I think there's some pretty good stuff that happens at the Game Awards.
Half-Life would be interesting. I think any type of Switch 2 would be interesting. I don't think they'd ever get Nintendo to do that like Microsoft did.
Oh, you mean
like the new Xbox?
I mean, they'll announce games. I don't know if they'll announce consoles or anything like that.
Well, they announced the Xbox Series X.
At Game Awards?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I don't know if it was the Game Awards or if it was but that's where Microsoft announced it. Like, that was crazy.
I don't remember that. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they have their own things,
right.
conferences.
People were confused.
Yeah.
They were just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
wow. Well,
yeah.
Maybe we'll see something spicy.
Maybe. I want to see anything from BioWare. Like, I want to see, like, okay, show me this Mass Effect game that you've been working on, or show me this Dragon Age game you've been working on.
I'm so nervous, dude. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Did you see the N7 Day trailer?
The trailer?
Yeah.
No.
It's not a trailer. It was like a little teaser.
Oh, like a little montage?
No. It was like.
No, I didn't.
It was like someone walking in the N7 armor, and everyone's like, "Oh, is that Shepard?" And
I did not see it.
yeah, you should watch it. It's like 30 seconds long.
It's got to be Shepard, right?
I don't think so. I would love it to be, but I don't think so. How do you do that? I think it's
just make. Hey, we picked this.
Maybe it's Liara. They did show Liara in their like original teaser.
Yeah.
So she's doing something, and
you just get brought back to life again.
Bro,
you already did in the second
but
one.
yeah, you can't do it again though.
Sure, just keep getting brought back.
Yeah, well, all right. Content Creator of the Year for streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2023. Iron Mouse, People Make Games, Quackity, Spreen, and Cypherk.
I don't care.
Cypherk?
I'm sorry. I don't.
I don't know any of them.
Nope.
Like literally none of them. I will say I think Iron Mouse is going to win because anyone I saw talking about this is like, oh, I know Iron Mouse.
Okay.
So
sure.
I guarantee she wins.
Just popularity.
Well, that's
yeah.
For an award like that, it has to be what it is, right?
Yep.
All right, now we start getting into stuff that, maybe we can more talk about. Most anticipated game. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, Tekken 8.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I think Final Fantasy is going to win this.
Agreed. Hades 2, I could see it, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Hades 2 won it.
Really?
A lot of hype around it, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hype around it. Hades was fantastic.
My personal Star Wars Outlaws.
No chance.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep. Yeah.
That might be like my second to last.
Yeah. Like you would think for me it'd be like Tekken, right?
Yes.
I really want to see what they do with Tekken, but I really want to see what they do with Star Wars.
I have no faith in that.
Yeah. But it's my most anticipated of like I want a good Star Wars game, and it's just like out of all of those, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for like some new gameplay. I'm waiting for some new experiences.
Right.
Tekken's going to be Tekken. I don't think Tekken's going to bring anything like necessarily like groundbreaking to the table. I'm going to enjoy it. I'll like to see the story, but it's just a fighting game that I'm going to play by myself to get through the story, and then I'll probably never touch it again because there's no one that's going to play it with me. Right. Yeah. So yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good. Like if they can pull off that fidelity and stuff, and it's not just what like Respawn's been doing with the Jedi games and stuff. Like I'm into that. Anyway,
that's a shocker. I think it's Final Fantasy for me personally.
Sure, yeah. And I want to play Final Fantasy. It's just like, am I like hotly anticipating it where like I'm losing sleep at night? No, but I'm not doing that with Outlaws either. So like if push came to shove, I'm more interested in playing a third-person action Star Wars game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised you're not super hyped for Hades too.
I am. I just have to see more of it because it's like we played Hades 2. I played I think it was Gods Among Us or something that was very similar to Hades 2. I played more Hades. I've been.
Wait, you said you played Hades 2?
I played Hades.
Oh, Hades.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So you played Hades 1.
Like, what?
I did. I think it's Gods Among Us. I played more Hades. Like it's like I played enough of it where it's like you don't know what you don't know. So they really haven't shown anything like new and different. And I've just been on this kick of like I want new experiences.
Yeah,
and I want something that I haven't seen or done before.
I trust Supergiant Games though.
100%.
I trust them.
Yeah.
So
Supergiant is one of my favorite developers.
Yeah,
easily.
They're fantastic.
Yeah,
they have such a unique style to their games.
Yep.
But those are my top two for sure. Final Fantasy is definitely probably number one because I think, dude, there's so much pressure on this game though.
Yeah,
it has to be a 10 out of 10.
I don't know why you would do that to yourself 3 times. right? Like it's like, okay, hey, you gotta remake Final Fantasy, and they get away with it, and everyone's like, this is great, and it's like, cool. They're just gluttons for punishment, man. It's like,
but they only told 10% of the story.
I know.
Like this is the game. Like this is going to be the bulk of the game.
It's like you did a prequel, or like a prologue, and then it's like, here you go.
Here's the game. Like this is the game.
Maybe.
Tyler, they literally showed, because Square Enix classic, just showing way too fucking much.
Yeah.
They've shown like the airship and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the last third of the game.
Yeah, but I wonder.
So you're thinking like the first remake was 10% of the game, I would say. This is taking you from 11% to like 80%.
If they follow the storyline.
They will.
Okay.
They will.
All right.
They already showed their hand on the formula. They're going to follow the story.
Ship, but what if the ship is like the last thing? Like it's like you don't actually do anything on the ship. It's like you see it and you get to it, and then it's like it's done.
Maybe
because like the ship, you got. I mean, it wasn't like I would say that's what, halfway.
No,
you don't think
the airship?
Yeah,
that's because once you get the airship, that's the last act of the game. Like because you can go anywhere on the planet. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
That's where it opens up the most.
I got you.
But then that's when you can do the optional stuff and.
Are they going to have an overworld map? Did they say anything about that?
I've been staying away from like anything.
Yeah,
I just want to be fresh on it.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm sure they've probably talked about it, but it looks interesting. Anyways,
a
lot of good games coming though.
When is that coming out? Does it say
February? I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Q1. These are all Q1 games.
Oof.
I believe.
Okay.
And the thing with this category is that they had to be announced, so that's why you're kind of getting limited. Like, there's a lot of things we know that are going to come out, but they weren't officially announced, like a release date. So, this is all like front loaded.
Well, Suicide Squad comes out in February too. I'm surprised that's not on.
I don't think that game's gonna be good. Do you?
I am with Rocksteady. I mean, name a bad game Rocksteady's done.
That's a good point.
Recently. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know. I hope it's good, man. That's Kevin Conroy's last ride.
I know. Yeah.
That's going to be emotional.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, next category. Best adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium.
Yeah.
And you laugh because
I think this is like a joke.
I think it's a great category.
No, it's absolutely a great category. There is a clear winner on this list that if they don't win, it blows my mind.
I don't think it's as wide of a gap.
All right, well, go ahead. List them out.
Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers movie, Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff was a huge Castlevania stan, but I haven't seen that.
Sure.
I've heard that Gran Turismo was actually pretty good. The Last of Us is probably what you're referring to, right? Super Mario Brothers movie was extremely popular, and people really liked it.
It was, it was a kid's movie. Like, it was
very popular.
Yeah.
And then Twisted Metal, I heard, was actually not bad.
Get out of here.
I swear to God. Everyone I heard talking about this was like, I thought this was going to be the biggest shit ever. And they're like, you should probably watch it.
Where do you even see it?
Twisted Metal?
Yeah, where do you go for Twisted Metal content?
Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah. Plex.
I think Last of Us deserves to.
I think Last of Us
run away
wins.
with this. I don't think
it'd run away.
I don't think so. Everyone's talking about Last of Us. I did not hear a single thing about Gran Turismo after. Hey,
I think the only challenger is the Super Mario movie.
I agree, but I think
everyone was talking about that. Everyone was playing the Peach song on repeat.
Yeah, but that's more Jack Black than anything.
Jack Black's in the movie.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Jack
Black's Bowser. That's incredible.
Okay.
I think you're right. Last of Us wins. I just think you're sleeping on Super Mario Brothers movie a little bit.
Read the description of this category again.
Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium.
Yeah.
And like,
while Mario is cool.
Okay.
Like, it was look at all these like nods to the different generations of Mario and like all this other stuff.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
Really cool how they weave that in.
Giving all of them voices, giving that, like, it's like, it adapts it. It's just a weird thing because you've never seen Mario do that before. Where it's just like, it was, to me, it was a little jarring.
Well, Mario these days has some voice acting in it.
Yeah,
so.
well, kind of. But like not like these long drawn out things, and like they're kind of changing up the history of it and different stuff. So like, I'm not saying it was bad by any stretch, but I don't know. Last of Us was so artfully and well done.
Last of Us was good. It's gonna win. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. It's not a chasm, in my opinion.
It's a big hill.
Okay, best multiplayer. For outstanding online multiplayer, gameplay, and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform.
I think this is where I start getting angry. No, go ahead.
Getting angry. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Screw Super Mario Brothers Wonder. That is not a multiplayer game. They have a multiplayer component in it.
Yep.
It's stupid. That's the one you're going to put in there is Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
What would you put over it?
Any multiplayer game. Pick one.
Name one.
Call of Duty.
Ugh.
That piece of crap that was released, Call of Duty, is more of a multiplayer game than Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
I'm with you. My favorite about this though is like you have all these like serious like artwork, and then just this crocodile within a chain.
Yeah,
for Party Animals.
Yeah. Like
anytime Party Animals shows up, I just laugh to myself because it's like the most troll thing. But
honestly,
it's so funny.
Honestly, Party Animals might be.
Oh, you might have it as your winner.
No, I don't think it will win.
No.
I think if you're picking a multiplayer game like that, I would probably put either Street Fighter, where it's like it's a fighting game, you kind of need a multiplayer component to it.
Yeah.
Or I'd probably go Diablo.
My personal vote was Diablo because I had a lot of fun with that, and the multiplayer experience was good. I know season 1 sucked, but I stopped before that, so like I was unaffected.
And season 2 is great.
Season 2 is great, so recency bias there, right? I've heard great things about Street Fighter 6 as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely in contention. I know their rank system's pretty good, and like fighting games are strange because a lot of it is technical. I don't know the actual terminology, but like how it's every frame matters in a fighting game, right? Yeah. So how it runs online is like extremely important. So
the netcode and stuff like that.
Exactly. So I've heard Street Fighter is a pretty good experience as it pertains to online. So that's always good. Now, is it going to be a case where Baldur's Gate is just going to run away with everything?
So here's my take on that. Personally, I don't think Baldur's Gate is a good multiplayer game.
I disagree. I think it is a good multiplayer game, but again, I do. For me, this is just personal experience. I think you have to play it single player first, get that experience, and then you can play it with your friends. Because look, if you fucking around in that game, you can do wild stuff, and it's hilarious, and you can have a lot of fun.
You can. Again, completely subjective and personal. I don't like Baldur's Gate being a multiplayer game in that you can go anywhere you want, and like that's technically impressive, right? Like you can go and talk to whoever you want, do everything you want.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer components to it, there really aren't any. Like you can play together.
Yeah.
But like you really have to make an effort to play in a cooperative way type of thing. So like you have to either have like tons of communication and really make sure, and I think it's probably maybe better like couch co-op because then it just naturally happens that way. It's like, oh, come over here, do this, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But if you're playing online like we did, where like the loot is shared, the thing, like you can go into anyone's thing and move stuff around and do whatever you want, and it's like you can only play in that person's game, right? Like you're not getting your own game and your own character and different stuff like that. So like to call this a good multiplayer experience, it's multiplayer, but it's not meant for multiplayer. Is my argument. Mm-hmm. Where like Diablo is drop in, drop out, the world morphs to like, yeah, you're going into like John's game, but like, and it's like his, I guess, overworld, but like you're still playing and you're getting all that progress, and you're getting all the loot, you're bringing it back. It's instance loot, so like you're not like fighting for the scraps and whoever gets this chest first gets first dibs on everything and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that Baldur's Gate was like anxiety-inducing multiplayer experience that like ultimately I did not enjoy compared to the single-player experience, where Diablo I think is much more of a, when I think multiplayer, it's like you're getting on, you're just BSing, you're going through the motions on and just hanging out and talking and stuff. In Baldur's Gate you have to be so focused and you're basically just playing D&D, which again is cool, but that's not what I want from a multiplayer video game. Again, very subjective, but that's my 2 cents on that.
No, I think that's fair. I do think it depends what group you're playing with. Like, you definitely have to have a similar mindset and gel in that aspect. So I think the potential for Baldur's Gate multiplayer is cool, but the only thing I would disagree on that was like in Diablo, there isn't a lot of teamwork necessarily. Right, like in a Baldur's Gate, I would say there's actually more collaboration that you can have with each other.
There can be, yeah, sure,
like combos and stuff that you can do. Whereas Diablo, you're kind of just beating the shit out of everything as a group.
Diablo, it's like if you're pushing the levels of the dungeons and things, and like we just didn't get to that point whenever we were playing.
Yeah,
I feel like that could help. Where it's like, oh, I'm speccing out to be like high defense, or I can heal, or I can support with like, I don't know, I'm a barbarian, I'll shout and help you out or whatever. Doing that, or if you're like a group just roaming in the PvP world and then and like in that zone and you're just crushing people as they're running around, you're ganging up on guys and like taking all their stuff and whatnot. But
I think Diablo 4 for me is the winner. I could see Street Fighter potentially winning. It's kind of like the philosophy, if you're going from a more competitive mindset, obviously Street Fighter is going to be the winner here, right? But yeah, if it's just that collaboration, very low stakes chilling, like Diablo 4, you can't get better than that.
Yeah.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of in that category, but
and Party Animals is basically Gang Beasts, right? So like you could have some fun with that, where that's like you don't, that game is, you have to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But
yeah, no, I agree. All right. Best sports / racing. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games. EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. What a shit category this year.
Hot Wheels gets my
literally.
my vote.
Did you play Hot Wheels?
I played the first one. I didn't realize the second one had come out.
Yeah.
The attention to detail and all the little nods to like all the different types of Hot Wheels and like the fingerprints and the stuff on it is really cool.
I don't want any of these games to win.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like Forza was very disappointing to me. I heard the Crew was okay. Maybe that'll snag it. F1 actually got a lot of good reviews, so maybe that'll win, but I had a tough time voting for that. I think I ended up voting for F1 just based on like the critics' responses, but man, what a disappointing year for sport. Like usually the sports are terrible, but at least you can rely on racing. There'd be like good racing games, but no.
Well, this is where you need like your Rocket League to come in and just completely take over.
Right. All right. Best sim / strategy. Best game focused on real time or turn based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Boot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4.
Yeah.
I voted for Advanced Wars for you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Because I know you really liked that one. But I could see Pikmin winning this because I think people really liked that game.
Yeah, I didn't really get into Pikmin. I could see even Fire Emblem. Like Fire Emblem was actually pretty good.
Think so? But it's definitely, I don't know. It's definitely not as good as Three Houses, and I think that kind of
the gameplay is. So it's weird because like I think the Fire Emblem gameplay was really good, but like the story was so, I didn't care. Like it made me want to go and play Three Houses just because the characters were so much nicer and the dialogue was better. It was like a lot more like drawing you in, which is, I'm a little hypocritical because I never finished Three Houses or really started Three Houses.
Yeah.
But I was a lot more drawn into the characters in Three Houses than I found a lot of the characters in Engage to be like grating. Like it was just like, okay. Like, but Boot Camp, like Advanced Force was a really good, like, hey, here you go. My thing with that is they really didn't do too much to it. Like, it was like a good collection, it was good remaster, it was in whatever, but it was like, it was more of a remaster than a remake. And to have that win, I don't know.
Okay.
Because like, you could take the original Advance Wars, put it out, and be like, hey, this is a really good game, right? And people be like, compared to the other ones on this list, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe Pikmin would win then. I voted for that just for you. But did you play City Skylines? I know you like those.
No,
games.
so I have City Skylines downloaded. I have that Joust or I don't know, whatever that climbing game is that came out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get that done. And then there's Dungeons 4. Those 3 are out on Game Pass. I'm gonna try those 3.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me know. Yeah, we'll see what wins there.
Advance Wars is what I voted for.
Yeah.
Just because I played it, but yeah.
All right. Best family. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform, we have Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Wonder's going to win, like for sure.
I think it would have to. Yeah.
But people liked Pikmin, so maybe that'll give it a run. It's probably between those two, right?
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for the alligator or crocodile in the sunglasses. I kind of want him to win something, but like...
Little party animals, yeah.
Dude, look at him. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
But he's not going to win.
No.
Yeah. All right, best fighting. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. So we have God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. I mean, it's between MK1 and Street Fighter 6, right?
You would think.
Yeah.
And there might be an upset there because like I didn't hear about the other ones like at all. I guess Nickelodeon technically, but I haven't heard really great things about that.
No.
So I don't know. I voted for Mortal Kombat just because I really did not like Street Fighter.
Right.
But to be fair, Mortal Kombat was like okay.
Yeah.
I don't think like completely changing the time, like redoing everything was enough of a hook this time around. Like I really liked 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
This one just didn't hit.
Well, those were like all-time Mortal Kombat. Right?
Yeah, they were awesome, and I think it ended really well. So then to like rehash it all, but like they're all basically kind of getting to the same place. More or less was just kind of like, it's not. They didn't go as far as I thought they should.
Sure.
With it.
I could see Street Fighter 6 winning, man. I know you didn't like it, but I think the game looks really good.
Yeah, no,
I'm not a fighting game expert, but it seems like we're talking fighting games, like that community. I think they really liked Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
dude, I don't know. I like the characters more in Street Fighter. I just think they're more interesting to me. And like I know nothing about either of those universes, so it's like,
sure,
I don't know what it is. I just think they're a little bit more outlandish, which I like, and that's kind of where my head goes to for fighting games. It's always like over the top, crazy, and I think Street Fighter kind of encapsulates that more than a Mortal Kombat, personally. But although I mean,
that's a hot take, but yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat's
up,
turning into lizards and scorpions.
Maybe it's artistic design, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. To each his own.
I just like the design better. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see what wins. I think it's between those two, probably. I would be shocked if anything else won.
Sure.
So we'll have to see. All right, best RPG. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. The fact that Starfield's on here is hilarious. Like, there's no chance. And first snub of the day, Octopath Traveler 2 not being on here for best RPG is crazy.
I think it could knock off
Starfield
easy. And Sea of Stars? You take Octopath over Sea of Stars?
No. Sea of Stars deserves to be on there.
Okay.
Octopath deserves to be on here. Starfield, I would kick off Final Fantasy 16 before Starfield even. Final Fantasy 16 is like not an RPG at all.
That's completely
it's
accurate.
An action game.
It's kind of weird too because Lies of P, Lies of P felt more like Final Fantasy in that regard too, where it was like
I was surprised. Like, is Eliza P technically an RPG or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like Dark Souls is, I guess, considered an RPG.
Yeah,
and to be fair, I didn't get far in Eliza P, but it just like it seemed very on rails, like just action game. Like I wasn't getting a lot of RPG vibes.
Yeah,
but
so what I would do here personally, I would take Final Fantasy 16 off, Starfield off. I'd put on Octopath and Hogwarts Legacy in a heartbeat.
Oh,
Hogwarts was a great RPG. You talk about.
I feel like
you talk about a role playing game. You are a Hogwarts student. Like, that is the best Hogwarts experience we've ever seen in a video game.
That is such a tough thing because I would put Hogwarts more as action adventure than RPG.
I don't know. I think it's an RPG.
RPG. So to me, RPG is like branching dialogue tree. Did Hogwarts have a lot of that? Like the branching dialogues and stuff?
No, not really. It's either be a dick or be nice.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you need it, but it feels like it's.
I don't know. I don't think so. Sea of Stars didn't have any branching dialogue.
I take that
Octopath.
back.
I think you have to have a kind of a particular level progression. I think you have to have. I don't know. I mean, it's a role playing game, so it's like
I guess.
I don't know, man.
I
get to create your own character. You get
action adventure game.
You get to be in your own house.
Yeah.
You get some unique quests depending on that.
Look,
I think
man,
there are
more
some
of an
branching
RPG
things.
than Final Fantasy is.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with you that.
So
yeah,
that like personally, I would do that. Like I don't know, man. Fair enough. Okay, maybe not Hogwarts Legacy. Keep Starfield on, but definitely Octopath not being on there. Just such a snub.
Yeah,
crazy to me. Like that was a solid game.
Yeah,
and I think it's getting disrespected. Maybe it wasn't that popular. I thought it was like. Obviously, it's not as popular as these other ones, but
yeah. I mean, it's an RPG. Like you don't get more RPG than
that is classic.
Yeah,
classic. But anyways, Baldur's Gate's gonna win this.
There's no way it doesn't.
Yeah, this was made for that game. So we're talking about what an RPG is. Baldur's Gate 3 is an RPG.
Yeah, they had RPGs last year, right? Did they?
So
okay, so this is like a standard because it's like, how do you?
You want me to check to see what won last year?
I'd be curious. Just like, I'm trying to think. Like probably what not Elder Scrolls.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
Right. It would I mean, Elden Ring won, right? Game of the year.
It did win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Let me check real quick.
It's just hard to believe that the Game of the Year, if it's an RPG, doesn't automatically win the RPG category.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean you're exactly right. Maybe it wasn't a category. I'd be shocked. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, Elden Ring.
Yeah, okay. So I think we're going to see a... Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I will say that, I mean, it was like last year's Elden Ring and God of War, right? And they were kind of trading blows.
Yeah, Starfield doesn't... Man, what a forgettable game.
It was disappointing.
Yeah.
That's a top 5 disappointing game this year.
Sure.
For sure. Maybe number
as in,
one.
that's like the only game I was disappointed with, really.
Forza was a mass disappointment.
Okay, fair enough.
I
didn't really have high hopes for...
I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The motorsport games, I don't even want to rehash that. All right. Next up, best action adventure game. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. So we have Alan Wake.
That is okay, but that is Hogwarts. Yeah. Like, read that description again.
Okay, that's Hogwarts. Okay, that's good. Best action adventure game combining combat and with traversal and puzzle solving.
So your broom, all the puzzle solving things that Hogwarts did. That is literally action adventure.
Yeah. Okay. But there are RPG elements to it.
100%. Oh, like you made a good argument for RPG too. But what I'm saying is, for Hogwarts to just not be spoiler, not be in the discussion
for anything is crazy. Well, that's my point. It's such a snub.
This is a perfect. Oh, go ahead. Read the nominees. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Like, that's a stacked category. Like,
those are all good games.
Those are tough to go against.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
I'd put Hogwarts above Star Wars personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Hogwarts was better than Star Wars. But yeah, that is a stack. Like, I'm not mad at any of these games being on that, right? But again, it really just comes down to it didn't get one. Like, you give Starfield a nomination, but not Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, was Hogwarts the greatest game ever made? No, but the amount of hype surrounding that game and it received positive, acclaim is extremely impressive, and B, the popularity of the game itself.
Right.
How can you just deny that? It's like, I remember when like the Avengers came out in like 2012 and it got 0 like Oscar nominations, which is crazy. Like, just the pure popularity of it, it has to win something.
You would think. Yeah.
And I remember it perfectly. Like, they had like the Avengers cast present an award. Just give them like here's your little fucking bone, you stupid superhero wackadoos.
Yeah.
It's like, I just hate it. It's like, oh, you're too good for it or something.
The thing that I would do though is I would knock Alan Wake out of this category, and I would put Hogwarts in.
Yeah, Alan Wake. I mean, it's not really an adventure. It's on rails.
We'll talk more about it.
Yeah. It's on rails.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ish.
But like, adventure to me is like, there has to be some exploration. And I guess there is some in Alan Wake, but from what I've seen, it's very small.
It opens up
a lot.
I mean, you can drive wherever you want, so like all those areas you can go back to and stuff. I mean, you'll get there,
but I mean, like a Spider-Man, all New York, a Jedi Survivor.
Well, we'll get there. So I picked Spider-Man for this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to win easily.
Probably.
I picked Resident Evil.
Wait, Resident Evil's on there?
Yeah. Resident Evil 4.
Can you read that? Sorry, can you read the numbers?
Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Jedi Survivor, Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, then I take it back. So that's why. For whatever reason, I thought Dead Space and Resident Evil were in the next category.
No.
Okay. So yeah, why isn't Dead Space in there?
I just think Resident Evil 4 ate its lunch.
I wouldn't go that far, but Resident Evil is very good.
Maybe disrespectful.
Yeah.
I really like Dead Space. I agree.
So did I.
Dead Space did at least get a nomination, though. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, throw him a bone, man. It seemed Hogwarts got snubbed on purpose. I mean, if we're being completely honest.
I don't know. I don't know.
It seemed maybe this is tinfoil hat, but like it just seemed very
just don't
deliberate.
Want that.
Yeah, they don't want any. Yeah,
the publicity again, or
and it's like maybe that's smart. Maybe that's smart, but I'm just looking at the game, man. I'm looking at the game, and the game was not bad enough to.
That's a great point. I wonder if that has stuff to do with it, because
I don't know.
Man, what a
that's a huge snub. I mean, like I really liked Octopath, and I think that's also a snub. But like that Hogwarts was one of the most popular games in the last whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's very shocking to me. So, anyways, back on track here. Action adventure. For me, Resident Evil 4, I think Tears of the Kingdom wins.
I picked Spider-Man just because I liked the, again, action event. But yeah, I could see Tears of the Kingdom pulling that.
Okay. All right, next up is Best Action Game, which confuses me a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you have action adventure and then you have just action, so whatever.
So I think this is where Resident Evil and Dead Space
belong,
yeah.
I see. I could see that, actually. Anyways, action game is for the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. We have Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runners 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Now, I agree with you, I think, because, Dead Space and Resident Evil are pretty on the rails. More or
like
less.
what traversal are you talking about? Like you can't even jump.
It's a great
in
point.
Those games. You know what I mean?
That's a great point. Yep. No, that's a great point. I think you're exactly right. I think they belong here, but maybe they're trying to spread it out.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like you're stacking certain, like, it feels weird.
Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of the list we have, though...
Sorry, can you read the list one more time?
Yeah. Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2.
Yeah.
My winner, of course, is Hi-Fi Rush. Biased, but...
Yeah.
I've heard good things about. I mean, Armored Core 6. If you're into that, I mean, it's probably going to win for you.
I did not like Armored Core 6 at all.
Ghost Runners 2, I heard pretty decent things about. And then a lot of people really liked Remnant 2, although the critical was like decent but not amazing. Same with Ghost Runners 2. So it's like, I think maybe like the populace liked it more than the critics did, maybe in those two aspects. But
Remnant did not grab me nearly as quickly as the first one. And I feel like you need people to play with for that stuff.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Dead Island I actually thought was pretty good from an action standpoint. Like it looked really good. I think that it was just kind of you're kicking zombies around. Like it is what it is. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush was something special.
Oh yeah. I hope it wins this.
I hope so too. I think it deserves it.
It deserves something. So this is probably actually maybe not. But it has a chance to win this.
Yeah.
I was going to say this is like their best chance, but I actually don't think that's true.
Yeah.
It has a really good chance once you get to the audio stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right.
Yeah, no, I think it's a decent category. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on Resident Evil and Dead Space. That's a good point.
I was just like listening to Keely like rattle those off, and I was very confused on that because like action adventure is, I mean, like they were saying, like is traversal, and like I guess you get like some puzzle solving in Resident Evil, but like Alan Wake, Resident Evil, and Dead Space are like, at least Resident Evil and Dead Space should not be part of that. Like that is a combat thing. Yeah, it's slower combat and whatnot, but it's such a weird.
Alan Wake's tough to place.
Yeah,
because it's a thriller, right? It's more.
Yeah, but that's a perfect thing where it's like it's not like action adventure.
It's not,
really, like it is, but it's not
the focus of the game at all. Yeah. So it's a little tough, but okay. Next category is best VR/AR. So this is for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse.
I didn't play any of these.
Me neither. I think Gran Turismo 7 would be sick.
They all got, to be fair, they were all standout VR titles.
Really?
If I recall correctly. Humanity definitely, Call of the Wild. I know Digital Foundry did a whole thing on like how impressed they were with a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
I think Resident Evil might win. I heard very good things about that, but again, I don't.
It's always cool when you can pull, like, those AAA titles are the big deal, right? So, like, if you have a AAA title that just, hey, now it's in VR, and people are like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, that's cool.
I think Resident Evil does that well. I mean, their games obviously play to that style very well.
That would be terrifying to play in.
1,000%. I will not be playing it, but I hear it's good.
And it's kind of weird, too, because I feel like that would lend itself better than like Resident Evil 4. So like I bought Resident Evil 4, played it on Quest 2. It was fine. I just felt like I would get so fatigued and have such a pounding headache after like an hour of playing it or whatever because you're so tense. Like when you're going through it, I can't even imagine because at least you're open like in the more or less like outdoors, right? So in the beginning parts, it's like, okay, you see a bunch of guys coming and it's like a shooting gallery and whatever.
Yeah.
But like 7 is like you're in this confined house where like things are no, thank you.
Nope. No. All right. We'll see what wins for that. But no, I think it's pretty stacked, would you say?
I think everyone has its
nice.
Like they all have their merits.
Yeah.
I for me, I'd say Humanity just because it's a little bit
more
like a
unique
gameplay. Yeah.
That's a Tyler. It's definitely a Tyler.
I think it's like a Lemmings-esque type of game if I recall correctly. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I never really looked into it. I remember when like the trailers and stuff were coming out for it. Though. There was some hype around it.
I for VR stuff like that, I like things that aren't first person, which I know is a weird thing to say, but like VR is like, oh, it's first person. You're just in the world and you're doing things in VR. Like sure, but if you can have a unique experience like almost like an out of body experience where it's like you're playing a tabletop game type of thing or you're doing certain like those are clever to me and I enjoy those. But,
interesting.
Yeah,
okay. Next category, best mobile game for the best game playable on a mobile device. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, Terranil.
Yeah.
Honkai Star Rail is going to dominate this.
You just pulling that out of your butt?
No.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
very popular.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When you traverse in the anime community, you start seeing the degeneracy that is mobile games. And Honkai Star Rail is a cash cow.
Terranil is the only one I played of his.
Terranil. Okay.
I actually liked it. Terranil is very clever, I think.
Okay.
Have you looked at it at all?
No, I don't know what that is.
Think of it as it's like a grid system, and everything is just it's just dead land. And then it's like, okay, take irrigation channel and place it on this tile, and then that will flip other tiles based off of like what you place. So if it's like, oh, you have to have power that then can, power these number of windmills, and then if you have the windmills come up, then now you can place a meadow, and if you have the meadow here, you can get bees that then populate that. And so it's like a kind of like a puzzle-ish game, but it's like get the highest score of essentially regenerating the land. Right. So I think it pops up one more time in these awards.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. But it was neat. It was a cool thing. It was a Netflix joint, so you actually had to have a Netflix account to play the mobile version of it. Boom. And it did not play well on mobile. So while I picked that as a game because I like the game, the mobile aspect of it did not perform well when I played it. Yeah,
not good for best mobile game category.
I guess not.
Yeah, we'll see what wins. I would be shocked if it wasn't Honkai Star Rail.
I'll take you on your word there.
Okay, next. I hate mobile games, by the way. I don't play any of them.
I played Souls. Souls was a good one. Yeah. Survivor.io, I think, is the best mobile game I've played in
You were
probably
hyped on
ever.
that. You loved that game.
It's still great.
I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah. If a game you can play and it's not like, oh, I have to put money into this.
Yeah.
Like, both of and it's by the same developer, Souls and Survivor.io.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
No, I'm with you. All right. Best debut indie game. So this is the best debut game created by a new independent studio. We have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. Now this is where you take over and tell me why.
So I was actually confused, and I'd have to look into it. I thought Cocoon, and I'm pretty sure I said this before, was made by the people that did Limbo and Inside. So maybe I'm wrong there, or maybe one of the developers from that team. Maybe it's like some pedigree type of like
right. They say from the makers of, but it's
so
just
it's like
one guy.
Technically, yeah. So apologies, I clearly made a mistake there. Cocoon was really good. I liked Cocoon. Pizza Tower I could not wrap my head around it. It was too tough for me. What are some of the other ones?
Okay.
Dredge was really good. I like Dredge a lot.
Venba and Viewfinder.
Did not play Venba. I never heard of Venba. Viewfinder was that one where you're holding up like a Polaroid and you have to it's like a puzzle game. And you have to hold it a certain way and then it turns into reality. You can walk through it and stuff. Yeah. So I think Viewfinder is cool from a gameplay perspective in theory because I never played it. Between Cocoon and Dredge, I think Dredge stuck with me more. I was actually I enjoyed playing around with it and seeing kind of what it had to offer. So I'd probably give it to Dredge, but Cocoon's a good 4-hour game.
Yeah. I heard people talking about Pizza Tower, so I guess that does have a chance, but
Pizza Tower got a great review. On Steam, I'm pretty sure it was overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I think Pizza Tower might take this one if I had to guess. I haven't played any of them, though, so I'm going to take your word for it.
I'm happy Dredge got even nominated. I didn't think that was going to be a super popular one. But
yeah, got 2 nominations. Yeah, 2 more than Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, that's
Think
wild.
About that. Think about that one.
That is wild. Good for them, but
good
wild.
For them. Yeah. All right, so next one is Best Independent Game. So this is for outstanding creative and technical achievement in the game made outside the traditional publisher system. Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder.
Dredge was high on my list, and then Dave the Diver came out, and I stopped thinking about Dredge.
So here is the controversy.
Tell me.
People are saying that Dave the Diver has Exxon money behind it or something. So they're saying it does not count as an independent game.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how true that is or what constitutes indie studios, but
Exxon money specifically?
I think it was Exxon money or gas money or something. Big money. They had big money behind it.
But they're not a games publisher. So here's my thing, and like the only rebuttal I would have to that, only learning of this controversy 5 seconds ago, would be if they're not popping up in like the opening credit scroll or whatever, you know, like how like the publishers and everyone's like on screen.
Yeah.
If they're not on there, I don't know.
Who's not on there?
Well, like if it doesn't pop up by like Exxon Mobil, like like by Exxon Mobil and whoever.
Well, maybe that's what they're upset about.
Because they're like sneaky about it.
They're a little sneaky beaky.
Well, all right. Well, then let me put it this way.
Again, I don't know how true it is.
Dave the Diver should be the winner here.
Yeah.
If not, then sure, Dredge.
Sure, Dredge. I'm happy Sea of Stars is on here, man. Sea of Stars is a great game. I think, I'm not going to put it up against your precious Dave the Diver, but I am happy that Sea of Stars got a couple nods.
Yeah.
Especially for Best RPG. That's great. Because,
I think it's interesting because Dave the Diver and Dredge, both of them I have fond opinions of, but they're also the main games that I played on my Steam Deck. So it's like it was great on the computer, great on the Steam Deck. Like it was just I didn't want to not play it. So like those were the two games I was just like I'm continuing to play this game.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just a solid experience.
Yep.
Overall, I know that's your favorite category, so
I mean,
it's a pretty decent year.
Is what it is.
Pretty good year.
Dave the Diver has to win that. There's no way that.
No, I think it will. That's what the community kind of seems to be on Dave's team as well. So, all right. So this is best community support, and I was a little, conflicted on this because of another category we'll talk about soon. But this one specifically is for recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media, activity, and game updates / patches. So you have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077. So obviously I guess the whole game, I guess.
I don't think Cyberpunk should be mentioned at all in any of these awards.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
So why is that?
What do you mean?
Why shouldn't Cyberpunk be mentioned?
It's not a new game. Like I understand they did like a big overhaul patch.
Neither is Destiny 2. Or Final Fantasy 14.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, but this category specifically is for continuing to update games.
Is it best ongoing game?
No.
Yeah. So like
it's best community support.
Ongoing game. I'm with you.
Okay.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
Community support. It's like the only one there is Baldur's Gate, where it's like, hey, we listened to the community and we made the game and here's the game.
Yeah.
Like everything else, like it started to get kind of gray between community support and ongoing support.
Well, that's what I was like referencing.
Yeah.
I was kind of conflating those two.
Yeah.
It seemed very similar. So
yeah,
I understand.
So to be fair, I guess all of that should be out. And if I had to pick one, if we're going to go with this, I shouldn't even say that. No, Baldur's Gate. I don't know.
Okay. Based on who they have here, you just hype up No Man's Sky all the fucking time.
Yeah, so but that's the best ongoing game.
No, it's not. That's not the best.
No. I'm not saying it's the best ongoing game, but what I'm saying is like that should be in that category.
But here's the differentiation, okay? There's best ongoing game, which is like, what is the best game that is, not of this year, right?
Right.
And then community support is what games have developers had support for, continually to improve the experience and listen to players.
What's the difference then? Because best ongoing game would
I think
naturally
No Man's Sky can have the best community support because of all of the feedback they received, the changes that they've made to really resurrect the game, versus No Man's Sky is not the best ongoing game because the game itself is not better than other games that are ongoing.
So
that's what I'm saying.
So first off, I don't know if I necessarily agree. I guess my thing is like the community support. I think they're too close. I think
they are close. And
I think if
totally
you're doing community support, it should be the way that I would handle this category.
Yeah,
in my infinite wisdom,
would
be any game that was in early access that released in 2023 is eligible to be in this category, meaning that this game could have released in 2021, 2022, whatever, or early this year, and then it finally released later on or something. But it took community feedback, shaped it, morphed it, whatever, and then released this calendar year.
Yeah.
And hey, here are your games. That's how I would handle that.
Do you have enough games? Like, no games come out of early access anymore.
Oh, plenty. So, like, for last year, it would have been Rogue Legacy 2, where I would think that would be a primary example where when Rogue Legacy came out in early access, it was, like, fine. People were like, oh, it's okay. And then it finally released, and everyone, like, freaking loved that game. Because
so you have 5 games you could put up there?
Dude, there's so many. This would be, like, a lot of indie stuff, because aside from, like, Baldur's Gate, which is a little different, but I think in my mind, the only eligible one, again, subjectively, I think, would be Baldur's Gate win that.
Okay. Well,
Final Fantasy is like that would be a best ongoing. Like No Man's Sky would be ongoing because they're taking feedback, they're adding stuff.
I understand what you're saying. I just think that I'm trying to understand their mindset.
Like Destiny, how is that even a thing?
Every
Destiny news I hear is how players are pissed off and they're apologizing for something. How is that nominated?
Well, that's different though. But I mean, like the other ones actually are a good community support. Like Final Fantasy 14, very positive, and every expansion
as an ongoing game.
No Man's Sky. No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to like put my mind in their perspective. Right, I'm trying to understand their perspective, and their perspective, I believe, is this is support for the game, updating it, so it is ongoing technically. But the key difference is the best ongoing game might have been good from the beginning, and it continue like Fortnite, for example, was something we're going to see in the best ongoing game category, and that game was good when it released, and extremely popular when it released. So that's a key example of, okay, that's not community support necessarily. That is just excellence maintained over the span of its run. Whereas this is more nuanced in saying that there has been additions made, specifically listening to feedback and making those corrections. Again, very close, too close. I don't personally like it, and I did get confused, but I think that's where they're coming from.
Yeah. I still don't. It doesn't feel good, but
based on their description of this, I think it's No Man's Sky. But I understand what you're saying, where it's like,
but here's the thing: I don't think No Man's Sky. But like, I wouldn't put No Man's Sky on this either because I don't think the community did a lot to shape No Man's Sky. I'm not saying they did nothing.
It's not community; it's community support.
Yeah,
they're listening to feedback. Like you always would tell me,
listening to feedback. But what I'm saying is, No Man's Sky is. Their thing is you don't hear from them for like 2 months, and then they drop this massive like overhaul. Hey, here's new mechs.
Right.
Here's taming. People are like, wait, there's what now? Like it's not like community support's like, oh, we really want you to fix the inventory system and they fix it, or we really want you to do XYZ and they do it. It's like they're just dropping these massive things. Again, keeping the game ongoing. Mm-hmm. It feels like they need to do a better job with this category, I think, specifically.
No, I agree. I think it could be...
Community support to me is like almost like, I don't want to say social issues, but leaning more towards that. But I think they already have a category for that too that we're coming up on. But I don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I just don't...
Community support is like listening to your audience. And
yeah, but then why the heck is Destiny on there?
I agree.
You know
Destiny
what I mean?
should
like
not
that,
be on
it
here.
just does not make sense.
But that's what everyone's been saying. That was
yeah,
a
but
joke.
like for Final Fantasy 14, what is the community saying? Like they're praising the game for sure.
Yeah.
But is it the community saying, there has to be this?
I'm not saying
okay, here you go.
That should win either. I'm saying that like I think Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky are a good example. There were broken things, people complained, and it got fixed. To me, that's community support.
I guess I would just call it fix your damn game.
Sure, whatever you want to call it.
But like No Man's Sky has been fixed for years and years and years. Yeah. Like to do this community support thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Anyways, I was heated.
Baldur's Gate would be what I picked there by default because it's the only game that came out this year.
I hear you, dude. I picked No Man's Sky based on what I thought they were going for. But all right, best ongoing. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Thoughts?
Say the one more time.
Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'll start. I think personally, Cyberpunk should win this. What they did this year with this game, essentially resurrecting it, the 2.0 update was incredible. The amount of things they added, the performance of the game itself runs so much better. Even though, like I said, initially when I played it, it actually didn't run that bad, but like we're talking like 20 frames more now.
Yeah.
On average, at least that's what I'm seeing personally. Really great optimization of the game. Really fun. They added a lot of details. They completely revamped the skill trees that I think it makes a lot more sense. It's intuitive. It's fun. The driving mechanics are much better. And then on top of that, they had a really awesome DLC. That was an incredible experience too. So for me, it's Cyberpunk. I could see Fortnite definitely winning this. I mean, they just came out with the original map again. That broke like every record known to man, as we know, video games. Fortnite just always kills it. So I could see Fortnite definitely winning. I mean, Fortnite is they just find a way to crush it.
So you want to hear my hot take? I don't think Cyberpunk deserves to be in this category.
All right.
Cyberpunk did not do anything. Like, Cyberpunk is not an ongoing game.
Disagree.
Cyberpunk did, hey, we're going to put out DLC. So for me, an ongoing game is like, and technically Final Fantasy also is a little weird, where Final Fantasy is ongoing because it's like this games as a service thing,
so
but they're still doing DLC.
You can't say that though.
What do you mean?
If you're saying Cyberpunk's not ongoing, but they put out DLC, a new player experience, then you have to also say Final Fantasy 14 is not an ongoing game.
But Final Fantasy 14, they're doing free updates and free tweaks throughout the year and then drop a new chapter or whatever. But they're still making those patches and doing those things, where Cyberpunk was essentially dormant. Then they are like, hey, we got to put out this DLC. Yeah, they could have put the DLC out. Yeah, they could have probably gotten away with it. But I would argue they had to do the 2.0 because otherwise people would just either not buy it at all, or it would just be not as good of an experience. So I'm not saying they didn't do a good job with the work that they put into it and stuff, but they've already gone out and said, yeah, well, here's our DLC. We're done.
Yeah.
So for the spirit of an ongoing game is Fortnite. It is an MMO. So in this case, Final Fantasy 15, that is Genshin Impact. I would say Sea of Thieves absolutely deserves to be on that list. I would even go ahead and say that No Man's Sky deserves to be on that list, where it's they're still putting out content after content after content after content for free. So again, with Final Fantasy 14, it gets a little weird because you're doing this MMO, you're paying monthly type of thing, so whatever. But for Cyberpunk to just kind of come in and say, hey, look, here's this big update. Again, that's awesome, but it's a one-time update to get people psyched for a one-time DLC, and then you're just done with Cyberpunk.
Right.
Because they're on to Witcher and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like them coming in for, again, for your community impact, I would cede my argument for the community impact and give you that on Cyberpunk there versus an ongoing game. I think it's a little disingenuous to say Cyberpunk's an ongoing game because they finally got their crap together because it made business sense to sell the DLC that they were putting out. I know, look, I'm happy, because I know you loved Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Sure.
I just think category-wise, that's a weird, this year in general, a lot of these games, a lot of the categorization, it doesn't sit well.
No, I think that argument definitely makes sense. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, I think it's probably Fortnite.
That's what I voted for.
Yeah.
But I would write in Sea of Thieves there, personally.
No, Fortnite is better than Sea of Thieves.
Fortnite should win.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, for
Sure, I see
where
what
it
you're
was
saying.
to where it is,
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves and No Man's Sky for me personally.
See, again, I feel like we're conflating the categories. I don't know. To me, the best ongoing game doesn't necessarily have to be the best improved game.
I agree, but the whole thing with Sea of Thieves is like the best ongoing is like they've been. I mean, they're on chapter.
Yeah, but it's not as popular as.
Well, yeah, if you're talking popularity, then yeah, Fortnite has to win. Maybe.
Yeah,
Genshin
but like,
Impact.
how many people are playing Sea of Thieves?
Maybe Genshin Impact. Sea of Thieves just did they have a new Voyage that's like a PvP thing, which is
sure. And how's that going?
No idea.
I'd love to see the numbers.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, no argument for me. Fortnite.
I'm not saying just because Fortnite
it.
is more popular, but I'm saying it's popular. It's well received. They're getting very positive responses. I just haven't heard. I didn't even know the new Sea of Thieves thing came out.
I can't argue that at all. Yeah.
So I don't know. So, anyways, I think those two categories agreed. Very confusing. I was also confused. I guess the way it made sense in my head, that's what I voted for. But I do understand the argument that it's not really an ongoing game. It's its own isolated experience. So then I would shift to Fortnite if that's the case.
That to me, that's like putting out like whenever. Okay, here's a perfect example. That's like Resident Evil putting out their DLC next year and then calling Resident Evil best ongoing game.
They might have.
That's a bad.
I think they need a better, more definitive description of what the categories are.
I think Cyberpunk just kind of snuck in there for.
Yeah, they were trying to place it somewhere.
Cyberpunk wasn't on the RPG. Like
nope.
That's not an RPG. That's not an action adventure. That's not a.
It's nothing.
Whatever, man.
It's the best ongoing game.
That's what I mean. Like, do I think that Cyberpunk even deserves to be in the conversation because it did not come out this year? Like, yeah, 2.0 is cool. How many games have completely revamped their stuff? Like, it's not a new game. If you want to call the DLC and you want to call out Phantom Liberty, like, sure. But again, that's DLC.
Yeah, I think they put it in those categories because it didn't come out this year.
Right, but they're just trying to shoehorn it in, and I think that's not fair.
No, exactly. But this is what pisses me off personally is, like, they try, because, like, I get it. You're trying to respect the things and capture what 2023 like the gaming highlights, which Cyberpunk was one of them, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. You're trying to capture that. You're trying to give them some nominations. But if you're going out of your way to do that for Cyberpunk and you don't give anything to Hogwarts Legacy, that's crazy,
right?
Because it's way less mental gymnastics to put Hogwarts Legacy in somewhere than it is to put Cyberpunk in these things.
Yep.
So that's what makes me upset personally. But
and we're not even saying Legacy had to win.
No,
but it's like you want to nod to video games.
Put it in one place. Like, hey, this came out this year. This was a big deal. Yep. So let's give it one. Like they gave it fucking Starfield one because, like, look, love it or hate it, it was a big game. There was a lot of hype behind it, and maybe it should be recognized.
Love it or hate it, Microsoft, I'm sure, is
paying you,
donating something to producing this.
And that just goes to show how disappointing that game was, where it's like it only gets nominated for one category.
For the genre that it is.
Yeah. Like, that's the only place you can put that.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, Destiny 2 being nominated for Best Community Support is actually...
That's what I mean.
That's
like,
a troll.
Dude, every time
that's a troll.
They're apologizing.
Yep.
That's
the biggest troll thing. Now imagine if it wins.
I don't
That'd be the biggest troll ever.
Like, is that because the poor dude passed away, and it was just like in some sort of like, oh, okay, we respect. Like, I don't know.
I didn't.
Then make that category like your post.
That'd be a great category.
Was it human?
Actually, I think they do that. Saying I don't think it's like you don't vote on that.
They do that. They do that for Oscars. Where it's like
they do that for
Oscars.
Died
or whatever. They give it.
I thought they did it for this too, but maybe not.
Well, it's not like an award for.
Well, yeah, you can't do the award for best,
like best
person to pass away. Yeah. Like, that's messed up.
But it's like an honor. It's like
an honor of
and they might do that still. They probably will.
They probably will.
Yeah.
Okay, games for impact. A thought-provoking game with a pro-social message or meaning.
This is the one I was talking about.
Yes. Space for the Unbound. Chance of Senar. Goodbye Volcano High. Chia? Chia?
It's silent T.
Oh, it's just Chia.
I think so.
Okay, thank you. Terranil and Venba. I haven't played any of these, so if you
no, I played Terranil. Like I said, it's hey, be green.
Okay, Yeah, I don't know. Jeff was talking about Volcano High or something. I'm curious if we ended up playing that.
Yeah.
I will say Space for the Unbound got the best critical response. So
okay, I never even heard of that.
That'll
before.
probably win. It got a mighty guy on. It got a very high.
What genre is it?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
No chance. I think it's like a what would you call it? It's like a slice of life dialogue game. Visual novel?
Yeah,
okay. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but I think that's what it is. But that's what I think is going to win, just based off critical response.
All
right. So innovation and accessibility, recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. So we have Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. I struggle with this category just because I'm not very well versed in the options. So I don't know if you have a strong opinion on this one.
No, I know Spider-Man did a ton with, like, you can highlight enemies yourself. Like, you can do, like, outlines and shade things and make that all friendly. So, like, that was pretty cool. Diablo's somewhat the same way, but Diablo, it really kind of boils down to, like, you still have to be, like, really twitchy with, like, your controls and stuff. But there's a lot of good audio cues, like, you can set stuff up for that. So I don't know. I know Forza typically gets this where, like, people are, like, popping up, like, doing sign language to you and stuff like that. Like, they kind of, that's their category. Now, to be fair, I didn't see any of that when I opened up Forza Motorsport. Horizon, it was, like, right in your face, like, asking, like, hey, is this what you want? Do you want any of these? I don't know. I picked Diablo by default just because I actually used some of the accessibility features. Okay. This category isn't for us, so I don't, I'm not sure.
I think I do know there were a lot of features in Spider-Man, so I could see that winning. Yeah. But again, I'm very unfamiliar with it, so it could be anyone. I do agree, Forza is traditionally very good with that, but this didn't seem as, like you said.
I could even change mine to Spider-Man because swinging, like I was, whenever we were reviewing it, like, you have to really try to screw up, because as long as you just hit a button, you could do some really cool stuff, right? Yeah. Diablo, it's like there's a lot of visual, like, ADA stuff that you can do, but, like, Spider-Man, mechanically, you can kind of smooth some of that stuff out. Diablo, I didn't really see anything that helps you. Right. So maybe Spider-Man would.
Yeah, no, I could see Spider-Man winning. I think that's what I voted for personally, just because I heard a lot about that, and I think they're very conscious of that. So,
yeah, I voted for Diablo just because I used.
And
some of it.
I don't think Spider-Man's going to win anything else. So I think that's where they throw Spider-Man a bone.
You don't think action adventure it has a shot?
No,
I guess Zelda's gonna.
If Zelda does not win that, I would be absolutely shocked. And I don't even think it's in second. Like, I think Resident Evil is second there, even though it's not really an adventure game.
I still disagree
as we
with
say,
that,
but
yeah, all right,
it's a better game than Spider-Man.
Yes,
in my opinion,
swinging's so good though.
I love swinging.
The combat is really good.
Yeah. Resident Evil is better.
Resident Evil is a better total game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that's what. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to with these.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
But does it? Yes.
Yeah, you're not talking about the actual action. You're talking about the game itself. That's fair.
But Zelda's like the pinnacle of adventure games. Like, that is adventure.
Yeah.
So it's like Zelda's going to win. It should win.
But yeah.
Zelda should win.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
All
right. Best performance awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. So we have Ben Starr for Final Fantasy 16. We have Cameron.
Ben Starr is the main dude, Clive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cameron Monaghan. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba.
Moynihan.
Huh?
Moynihan. Cameron Moynihan.
Yep.
I don't know.
Idris Elba for Cyberpunk, Mulaney Lieberd.
So we're just doing DLC then? Is that the thing?
It's what it looks like. It says Phantom Liberty. It does say Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
he's only in Phantom Liberty.
But we're saying
I'm not saying they're saying.
Are we doing that for our game?
We can talk about that.
All right, we'll talk about it. Sorry,
but for theirs it counts. Yeah, which is sure. Hey, it's their show, man.
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's an argument to be made about DLC counting.
Sure. Yeah.
Man, you're perturbed today.
I just
the Game Awards have
Game Awards is, I would say, more contentious than other ones in my mind.
Look, I'm feeling it from you. Yeah. Neil Newborn for Baldur's Gate 3 and Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man 2. Yeah. I voted for Ben Starr. I thought he did great as Clive and kind of carried it a little bit in terms of his emotional depth that he had to get to.
Yeah,
everyone on this list is fantastic. This is a juiced category in my opinion.
I was surprised at how much I actually liked the main, because typically I don't like the main characters in games like Cloud, whatever. Clive was actually pretty believable. Like I enjoyed him.
I love Cloud.
Cloud's fine. Yeah. I think Clive was a better actor.
No, I think he did a fantastic job. But Yuri Lowenthal is one of my favorite voice actors, so it's hard not to vote for him. Especially like I was waiting for Spider-Man 2 just purely because of the Venom arc is right in his wheelhouse, because he has played a lot of edgelord characters, so it's like when Peter starts getting that edge, it's like this is Yuri Lowenthal, man. This is it.
They're all good. I actually liked Harry more than Peter Parker personally. I liked Miles. Honestly, like Peter might fall bottom 5 for me.
Wow. Okay. Bottom 5. Wait, what?
Yeah, if you're looking at
the bottom of the top 5.
Harry, Miles, Peter.
You like Mary Jane more?
And I think even Mary Jane, which like Mary Jane had a distinct voice. It wasn't like insert. I don't know.
Who was it for her?
I don't know.
Wasn't it Laura Bailey in the first one?
Ooh, maybe. I don't know.
So did she come back? I didn't think I heard her, but
check.
She's incredible. She might be.
I just thought that the actress that did Mary Jane in this one was
I
very,
liked
very
Mary
good.
Jane. I thought she was good. I mean, did I like her more than Peter Parker? No. Peter's my favorite though. I mean, that's like, I don't know. That's just, he's Spider-Man, bro. He's the best. Yeah. I did like Miles. Miles was great. It was a good game. Anyways, I wonder if Neil Newborn wins. He's Asterion in Baldur's Gate 3 purely because people just love Asterion.
Yeah. He's really good. He's great. Really brings that character to life.
Is he even the best one in that game though? I don't know. I didn't think so either. I actually thought Gale's voice actor was great.
Yeah, they're all good. My least favorite was Jacob or whoever the Will. Yeah,
Jacob.
I equate him to Jacob from Mass Effect.
Why is that?
Because they're the same. Like boring. I don't care.
All right. Yeah. I liked Will. I don't know. I liked Will.
He was fine.
I thought he was a good guy. Jacob was kind of boring in Mass Effect. Yeah. I tried to like Jacob.
Nope.
But then it's like, dude, if you ever romance Jacob, in the third game, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm like married now or something. It's so funny.
Because even the directors didn't know what to do. Like, all right, we'll just give this guy love.
Fuck it. We don't want to write for this storyline.
Whatever.
It's funny, man. Yeah, so honestly, I would not be mad at anyone. Like, everyone on this list, great performance.
Over under that they reference Judge's speech from last year and how it went on for like 20 minutes. Like, do you think he's going to crack? What's his face comes up and cracks a smile and says, "We're going to do a quick speech."
If it's wait, who's like Jeff?
Yeah. If Keeley gets up there and does like a quick and we'll just have a quick
take whatever.
Yeah, I don't think the winner is going to say anything, but I think he might kind of do a little like jokey.
I think depending on the winner, it could maybe be.
Maybe
I'll keep this quick or something. Yeah. I take the over on that. That'd be funny. All right. So you voted for who again?
I'd by default probably give it to Asterion or Clive, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah. I voted for Clive personally, but
I think
again, not mad.
My thing is I just want Baldur's Gate to get as much. I want them to just blow it out of the water.
This could be a year where they just absolutely win every award, and it kind of makes me a little upset with that because it's like how sometimes it's like this is clearly the best game, but you're like winning best like audio design or something.
Yeah.
It's like there was another game that
sure,
and you're literally just winning that because you're the best game that came out this year. It's like, are we looking at the category or are we looking at the game?
Yeah.
And I think too often we just look at how good the game is itself rather than the specific category. Like you were talking about in action adventure, like I think a great case can be made for Spider-Man because it does those action adventure elements specifically very well.
But not all of them. So it's like, yeah, combat and traversal, awesome. The puzzles suck. Yeah, so it's like,
Zelda's gonna win. Zelda's gonna win, but like, you know what I'm saying.
Zelda, the puzzles are good, the traversal's good, the combat's good.
If we do like a head-to-head, Resident Evil versus Spider-Man, Spider-Man is
I would eke
an action adventure.
With Spider-Man, yeah.
More of an action adventure game itself, right? And it displays those elements better because the place it would probably win is traversal. There's no traversal in
like you're talking, because you're going into genres, and that's the problem, is you're talking a genre and you have two genres, not including like sports and racing or whatever. So you have your action, you have your action adventure, which why is action even a thing? That should be like shooter, action adventure.
Because if you had just adventure game, like, so is that what you would do? You would just have adventure game?
Well, no, what I'm saying is doing action and action adventure and RPG, but having no shooter, having no like because they did like sim and different things like that, but like Resident Evil is a horror game. Like that's
they could have had a stacked horror category.
They could have. That's what I'm saying though. Is like I'm not saying you have to have that every year, but like
play to what the year has done.
Shoehorning a horror game into an action adventure thing. We don't have to rehash this, but it's like it's
this year could have been best horror game.
Yeah, and
you have at least 3.
They had the Amnesia whatever come out.
Sure.
You had like you could give other you could have
nods to other. Yeah,
I mean, totally Resident Evil would have 2 apparently because we're doing DLCs.
If you're gonna change the categories on a year-to-year basis, you might as well tailor it to what, because like what is the Game Awards for? What is the purpose? It is to demonstrate and highlight the achievements of the gaming industry for that specific year, and it's always going to be unique. So if it's a stacked fighting game year, or if it's a stacked horror game year, or whatever the case may be, adjust your categories.
The best thing Giant Bomb had ever done was do best Wolfenstein moment, because that game was so absolutely bonkers that it was like, well, you have to talk about this. Like you have to give.
Well, that's the beauty of having our own podcast. We can literally
get some fun stuff going.
Any category we want.
We'll figure it out.
So we'll use this as a template and then make our own.
On what not to do.
And stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lively discussion here at the Couch Company.
We have to get Jeff on to really discuss it.
Okay, so this is best audio design. Now, again, next one's going to be score. I think there's more of a distinction here, but
absolutely.
Let me.
So to me, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I do know the difference between score and audio design, of course, but there's a specific game that I want to talk about, so we'll get to it. So this is recognized in the best in-game audio and sound design. So Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. My confusion on this, I guess, slightly, is Hi-Fi Rush. Does the whole conception of the game is playing to the beat, having the music literally incorporated into the gameplay?
Yeah.
Is that housed within audio design? Or is audio design more like the direction of how you're incorporating audio in terms of more technical aspects of it? More...
Originally, I wanted to say that Hi-Fi Rush should not be for this. Or, like, it can. Like, every game could be nominated, but, like, it shouldn't even be considered.
Right.
I think the cool thing with Hi-Fi Rush is if you screw up and you get like the like
a Guitar Hero,
and every time like you jump, you hit like the little like cymbals or the hi-hat and different things, and like, you're just doing stuff. So like there are aspects to Hi-Fi Rush that I think are good in the sound design. I think a lot of that comes from the score, but how it's baked into the game,
that's the audio design.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it also is kind of like that's its shtick, right? So
yeah, but that's I guess that's why. So I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is I was thinking about what to vote for. It's not going to be Spider-Man, although I do really like the incorporation of some of those unique elements of like the sound through the controller.
I think Spider-Man is a contender. Like the changing of the
horror
voice
games
from
though,
swinging and stuff. Well, I mean, I think horror should win, but what I'm saying is like so Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that is really
so
cool.
much, but like down to the thing where like, if you're wearing the the Black Panther suit, you don't make footsteps. Like to go that level of detail, is pretty cool.
Yeah, agreed.
So
what?
They put a lot of love into that.
They put a lot of thought in
like the level of where you're swinging is how crazy, like how busy the street sounds, right? And as you go above, you start hearing the wind, and it kind of goes in between. Like Spider-Man does a lot of really, really clever, good stuff.
Yep.
That like you can't overlook it. Now I think horror games
that's fair.
Dive into it more, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think that's fair. I think this is a very stacked category.
Yeah.
And my mind kind of goes all over the place because I think creativity, Spider-Man does, and attention to detail, Spider-Man does a fantastic job. I think just the purpose of the game is Hi-Fi Rush. It's like all audio design is like a pillar of what the game is.
Yep.
So I think you have to respect that and consider it. And like you said, like how they incorporate that into the fighting, using audio cues, using that. And
I think the difference is with Hi-Fi Rush, within the first 20 minutes, you see everything there is.
Sure.
Or I should say you hear everything there is, because it's just recycled. Like every time you jump, it's going to be this. So like it's really cool, but it's the same the entire game. So like I'm not saying that
I will say though that depending on like what level you are, I do really like how it, obviously it's changing the musical component to it, like what track you're playing.
Yeah, bless you. It's clever. It's just like it's the same.
Yeah, okay.
It's the same trick, I guess.
Sure.
And I guess all games to some extent are this. But yeah.
But anyways, I think it probably comes down to Alan Wake 2 or Dead Space.
Was Resident Evil in that or no?
Resident Evil was in it.
Yeah.
Or Resident Evil, I guess.
So it's interesting because Dead Space was really good. Like I liked the breathing and like as you're like clomping around and stuff, and like it was good. But there were a lot of times when I would hear something in Dead Space and the cues were like incorrect. So like I would like be walking and it sounds like it's like behind me and when it's in front of me. And I think we talked about this in the review where like some of the sound design didn't hit correctly with me.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I would hit something and it would still sound like I'm squishing through bodies even though no bodies are there.
Right.
And there were like little glitches here and there and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked Dead Space because I think just the atmosphere that they created with the metal in particular. I think the metal sounds that they utilized in that game.
It felt like you had a helmet on the whole time.
Felt like you had a helmet on. Things are crawling in the walls, that you can hear. They utilize that. The grating. There's a lot of grating on metal and just these uncomfortable sounds.
Yeah.
And the squishing's gross. So I think it really put me in. Alan Wake 2, though, is really good as well.
So it sucks because when I voted, I gave it to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But being significantly, I shouldn't say significantly, like maybe like 10 hours in Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary.
Did you get to the bus yet in Alan Wake?
No.
No? Okay. So like if you change scenes, is Alan Wake yet and things?
What do you mean?
Because you said you're in New York.
I was in the studio, and then I escaped. And now I'm out in New York, and then.
So you haven't Okay, so you're just in New York now.
Yeah, and then what am I trying to do? I guess I'm trying to get out of New York.
Okay, so you didn't get to the certain point. So like Alan Wake, to me, I think now like the sound design in that, like it is, for lack of a better term, like with Dead Space, like you were saying, like you hear things crawling in the vents, or you hear like like these musical stings and different things like that. And Alan Wake has certain things like that, but Alan Wake, it's the subtlety of everything that is just really, really, really creepy. Where like it pulls the music back, and you just hear like the woods when you're like creeping around with like a flashlight and stuff, and the whispering and stuff. Because like, did you get to like the kind of like ghosts and stuff with how they're like whispering at you and stuff.
Yeah.
There is a bus scene that is like one of the most disturbing things. Purely like visually, it's disturbing, but like the audio at the end of like, because you're like walking through a bus, right? And the end audio is one of the most disturbing things that I've heard in a video. So it's just like they do such good stuff. And I knew we were going to talk about this today. And when I was playing this morning, I was going through these woods and I just heard like twigs cracking like behind me and stuff. And I'm just like that subtle little thing where like you're just on high alert. I spun around like looking for things and whatnot. And it's just like design wise, I think it hit more for me than Dead Space from a horror standpoint because it's like, hey, we're not going to throw any, like Dead Space, they're constantly throwing crap at you and everyone's like, attacking you and the dead bodies are jumping up and stuff. Alan Wake's like, we don't need any of that.
Yeah.
We only have to do that once to you and then never, and like you will be twitchy, crawling the rest of the game.
Yep.
So I just think that it's just really, really well done. Like just the cue, like when you go into a light, just like hearing the light come on and like the almost like the vibrations just purely from audio, like you can feel everything in that game and it's so weird. Like Spider-Man, you had actual vibrations on your controller. This game, it's like I'm feeling things in the world through audio and it's crazy. So yeah, I don't know, it's
Alan Wake 2 is your vote
now. I don't know if I can even go back and change it. Spider-Man is great and it's clever. Alan Wake from an artistic standpoint is I think on another level.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had something like that since like Fear.
Right.
And like Fear was like these weird, like it would just freak you out, man, with like the subtle audio stuff.
Yeah.
And like I can't spoil anything. There are just so many cool things with this game that
No, I think that's fair. I think this is a tough one because I think they all do really good things. So yeah, we'll have to see what wins. I think Alan Wake 2 might. I forget what I voted for. I think I voted for Hi-Fi Rush.
I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is great.
I just think
like Resident Evil,
really
like nothing fills you with dread like hearing a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Chainsaws and crows in Resident Evil. It's like you hear a crow, bear traps, or like wolves and stuff, which Alan Wake has those.
Yeah.
Like you hear that and it's just, man.
No, it's good. Horror always does really good with that. But yeah, we'll see what wins on that. I think it could be.
I think next year when Senua's Sacrifice or whatever the new version of that comes out, that's got to win.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you that wins next year if that comes out next year.
All right, now we move to Best Score in Music. So this is for Outstanding Music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I wish you were further in Alan Wake.
Really? You think it should win?
I wish you were further in Alan Wake.
I didn't have time.
I know.
So that's your vote?
It might be.
That's wild.
So here's the thing. After
I do
every part,
chapter. Yeah, they do have that.
Every song is great. I let it play because I'm like, this is a cool song. I like this song.
Yeah.
But the part that I'm telling you to do after you get back to the whole thing and then go back to Alan Wake, like whenever you can like switch between the two and go back to Alan Wake.
Yeah.
You got to get there. And then
is it the band? Is it the
Gods of Asgard?
Gods of Asgard. Yeah. Okay.
Have you heard their main
Is that
song?
what's playing in between the chapters? Is that like because I know they have a band that like represents that band in the universe.
You'll know.
You know what I mean?
You'll know.
Okay.
Like the main thing is don't go searching for it before the game. That's the main thing.
No, let it come to me.
Yeah.
Alan
Wake's so good, man.
So Alan Wake 2 is your vote for best score.
You accuse me of recency bias all the time, and I completely get that.
Yes.
So, but between the two games would be Hi-Fi Rush and this, because while Final Fantasy is epic, I'm not going on Spotify and I'm like, oh, I want to listen to all these things.
Right.
Alan Wake, I've already pulled several songs from like in between each of the parts where they give you that like cutscene song and the one Old Gods of Asgard or whatever song. I pulled those and I pulled a couple from Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
So it's like it'd be between those two. Alan Wake I just had a smile on my face for a lot of those.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush has a great soundtrack. Although, a lot of the songs are like licensed songs, like actual songs, which I shouldn't detract that, but I sometimes do because I just have a soft spot for like original scores and stuff.
Well, doesn't it say original in the description? So
and
I wonder
or
if
licensed
soundtrack.
okay.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
So they had a great catalog. Also, I really appreciate that they have like a streamer-friendly mode where they have, their own music, which is very good as well. So their songs are great. Their tracks are great because they do a really cool job of mimicking the original style or song that they've selected, but still having it be unique in its own kind of thing. So I think it does a great job at that.
But see, here's the thing: like, why isn't Beat Saber on there? Because that's all it is. Is like Beat Saber's pulling out freaking Linkin Park and Queen and the Rolling Stones, and Pink, and maybe not Pink, but like Billie Eilish is on, like all the.
But that's why
Panic at the Disco.
I kind of subtract a couple points from that because that's not video game music. You're taking outside of video games and putting it in, and I guess there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But it's like I just personally, from a personal perspective, I respect the original score more. Like this was made for this video game. That I appreciate more.
But with Hi-Fi Rush, you're doing the same thing. Is like you're pulling licensed music out, putting it in the game.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
Then you're doing a beat for it. Yeah,
that's why. Like as much as I love the soundtrack in Hi-Fi Rush, it's not my winner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's kind of what I was prefacing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it was your winner.
So for me, I mean, all these soundtracks are great. Alan Wake 2, I mean, I got to get to that spot. So, subject to change. Baldur's Gate 3 was really strong, and I don't know Tears of the Kingdom. I'm sure they always do a good job with that, though.
But Tears of the Kingdom didn't really... None of the music stuck out to me.
Okay.
Like, it was fine. It felt good within the world, but that wasn't the thing that I was... Like, at that point, I'd even give it to Mario Wonder.
Really?
Before Tears of the Kingdom, yeah.
Interesting.
Because I think the music on that's a good Mario music.
Right.
Crap game. But
yeah, for me, it's Final Fantasy, which probably isn't a surprise. I think the score is fantastic. Now, you say you don't listen, like, I listen to that soundtrack when I'm at work.
Well, you like it's orchestral. It's orchestral,
yeah.
Like, absolutely.
It's more classical. It's very epic.
I want, like, a song.
Dramatic. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's preference.
Yep.
But I just think it's really impressive. I think the writing, it was incredibly impressive, very powerful, and I think it fits with the game as well. Like, I guess my perspective on it too is like the game. If the game didn't have an unbelievable soundtrack, that game would be so much worse. Like that soundtrack almost
for Final Fantasy
carries the game
for the boss fights.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The visual spectacle is fantastic, but dude, if you have like a B soundtrack, that game's not even close to being what it is. And I think the soundtrack really does heavy lifting for the game. So
which game was it? Final Fantasy 16, where I was complaining about some of the soundtrack stuff though, where like because it was like looping in a certain thing and like some of the epic parts, the music didn't line up. Was that Final Fantasy or was that a different game?
I can't remember.
There was one game where, and I assumed it was this year, where it was like I was playing it. It got to like a light part in the track, but it was during like a very intense like fight.
Oh, maybe it was Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
I didn't have that issue though.
I'm not
so I don't
putting
know.
shade on it. It was just like it didn't
That's
line
fair.
up for me.
Yeah, I don't think I had that issue.
I think we talked about that.
We did.
Yeah,
but I don't think I had that issue.
Yeah,
I mean that's like your Spider-Man issues that you had, where I literally crashed zero times.
Fair enough.
So we seem to have had very different experiences.
Yeah.
But anyways, my vote goes to Final Fantasy. I think they're all good though. I wouldn't be mad if Hi-Fi Rush wins. That's my second choice personally, until I see this amazing moment in Alan Wake 2. But
I look, man, Alan Wake 2. Yeah, I don't know.
It's your game of the year. I get it. Like, look, I got you,
dude. There's so many good games. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, best art direction for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So we have Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I have a little shocker here for you.
Hit me.
I voted for Lies of P.
I could see that argument.
I think Lies of P is a very good visual game. So technically it's sound. I remember you were talking about some of the detail that they have, specifically like, when it's raining and stuff, the material is affected by that. I like that attention to detail. But I think just the concept of it is really cool. The whole Pinocchio styling, and that kind of, the way that the enemies look and the steampunk-esque creepy Geppetto nature of that. I think it's very unique. I think it's cool. I don't see a lot of genres like that. Like a horror take on Pinocchio is a very interesting stylistic choice that I liked. Even though I didn't play the game, I liked looking at it.
No,
that's cool.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
like that's a good.
So that's my sleeper pick there. Like I voted for that one. I thought because it just differentiated itself from the other ones. Like we've seen cell shaded before, even though I really like that. Mario's Mario. Tears of the Kingdom looks good, but does it look better than like
Tears of the Kingdom?
I think you could probably put another game on there than that, right? Like I don't. Well, I mean it's art direction, so it's not just visual achievement, but
art direction.
I don't know. And look, I'm not a Zelda fanboy, so
I mean, art direction. Like part of it's like, why isn't Resident Evil on there? Like, why isn't Dead Space on there? Like, they're like art direction wise. Like, if you actually look at what they've done to that and like the style of everything, like it's kind of weird. But I mean, dude, there's so many games like art direction wise. Like Dredge has a very distinct art style that I dig. Dave the Diver is the same thing. Like when you're talking, like I don't like pixelated stuff usually. I feel like it's overdone. Dave the Diver pulls it off. When it comes to
I think
like Shadow Gambit, those character designs, I can't remember the last time I thought the character designs were that good. Like every single character is awesome.
Yeah,
like awesome. Like that. I told you, that's Mass Effect vibes on that kind of stuff in terms of like distinct characters with personalities that I loved every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
I think Octopath Traveler too.
Yeah,
is a great.
Visually, yeah, like the direction of it is really, really good.
And I know it's the second one, so it's not novel anymore. That 2.5 pixel or whatever they call it, but
like even
it's a beautiful game.
Immortals of Avrium, right?
Yeah.
Which I mean, like it's one of those things when we were talking about like games, like hey, here are all these milestones of this year, right?
Yeah,
like Immortals of Avrium, which Avrium, I don't know, whatever, didn't blow anyone's socks off, but and Digital Foundry just put out a video like yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever, where it's like, hey, here's all the cool stuff they were trying to pull off. Like, the game itself maybe didn't hit all the high bars, which I found out that Jessica from Suits is in it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No, that's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, well,
although you weren't watching
who
Suits
it was. You
weren't watching Suits back then, so I didn't bring it up. But
like everything that they're trying to do, it's like, look. Yeah, they might not have stuck the landing, but from an art direction and a technical aspect and stuff, like look at all these cool things that like someone will nail it, but they'll be building off of the bones of this poor game. And it's just like I feel bad when like games like that, like Shoot for the Moon, don't really hit it on traditional like, oh, the story or the gameplay was like one note or whatever.
Yeah.
But like technically they laid the foundation for like the next game to like be able to do both at the same time type of thing. So I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense.
But then Alan Wake might be the best looking game. Like
if Alan Wake wins, man, I'm not sad about that at all. It's an incredible game.
Visually the only thing so far in Alan Wake where I'm like, oh, I wish this was better would be like the leaves on the ground look flatter than I would like them to look. And the only reason that stands out is because of how well done everything else is.
Like the best looking forest of all time.
It's crazy.
It looks really good.
Like it just, the moment you walk in and like the way that the light shifts the deeper you get and like, oh man.
No, it's a technical achievement for sure.
Yeah.
I think Alan Wake might win it. I just like, I thought Lies of P was different. Like I said, I thought it was unique. I think it deserves a nod. And I'm glad it got nominated.
Artistically, I think it has a better... Like, Alan Wake is very like, hey, this is, well, real world and fake world, but like it's grounded in like this. We know what a coffee cup looks like. Yeah. But in like, Lies of P, I mean, that's a great point, is like, it's like, oh, this is very stylized and different things. And like,
I think it strikes a good balance between the style and just the technical component of like, it's a very good looking game, and it's very stylistic as well and unique.
Yeah. It's crisp in its move. Like, I think the one thing with Alan Wake is like, and maybe it's just because I have motion blur on, I don't know, but like, it is a little loose, right? Like, as you're moving around, like, you have the motion blur, like, and part of it's like this thing where like everything's like smoky and stuff, especially when you're Alan Wake. Like, everything, like when you move quickly, everything looks like it's like you don't know what's real and stuff. Yeah. And that's an artistic choice. But with Lies of P, like, it's very distinct in its look, but it's also just crisp and clean, where like when the movement and everything just feels really, really, really buttoned up. Right. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah. It's just like it's a well done game.
All right, next category, best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
I think Final Fantasy 16 and Marvel Spider-Man 2 shouldn't even be on this.
Yeah.
Like, Hogwarts could be on there. You could have like, I'm talking like, I'm not saying Hogwarts would even come close to winning, but like, you could put Hogwarts instead of Spider-Man. I think it would be the same.
Yeah. Personally, I did like FF16's narrative. I don't think it should win. But like, we're not talking side quests. We're talking straight narrative, and I do think it has a very strong.
That's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
You know,
I forgot that you really liked. Sorry,
I do. No. I think it's fair. I mean, dude, you're allowed to have your opinions. I personally liked it, so I don't mind it being nominated. I just think it's definitely not going to win.
I'm torn because, again, whenever I voted here a couple days ago, it was like, oh, Baldur's Gate, easy.
Right.
Man, is Alan Wake so good.
Alan Wake is good. I voted for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, sure.
1,000%. It was super concise.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. Like, the way it expanded the world, and I don't want to spoil it because I know you want to get to it someday, but
I don't know if I'm allowed to get to it anymore after how much trash I've been talking on it.
You talked a lot of trash on it. It was really good. It was one of those games where I was up till 3 a.m. after I beat it. What does this mean? What are the other endings? What is this and that? And wow, it was really cool. It was really cool. It's one of those ones like you'll remember that one for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's my vote. I know you hate DLC stuff, so like you think it shouldn't count.
No,
but
I think
they're putting it on there. I think like, look, Baldur's Gate had a great story. Alan Wake 2 is really cool, although I'm super early still, so it could change. But Phantom Liberty was tight. It was said what it had to say.
Yeah.
Impactful, made you think, like mind-fucky.
Yeah.
It's cool. It had it checked all the boxes, man. It was great. It was such a good like narrative experience. It was such a cool story.
It's tough because with Baldur's Gate, that is very dependent on choices you make and how you move things around and doing different stuff. And so it's like, from a volume standpoint, I think Baldur's Gate's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a story to tell and like
that's what I'm saying.
Along. Like, Alan Wake is.
I would put Alan Wake above Baldur's Gate, and that's no knock to the story of Baldur's Gate. I think the story's solid, but you're exactly right. Like, what makes Baldur's Gate fantastic is the choices. It's the side content. Mm-hmm. It's it's the characters, right, that you learn in the world. Like, it's pretty straightforward. The game's pretty straightforward. Like, we have a tadpole in our head, we got to get rid of it, and then there's like this plot, but like, it's nothing crazy if you really take a step back
into it.
Yeah. I just think they got as much out of it as possible, right? Mm-hmm. if that makes sense. And that's what makes the game amazing. It's not necessarily like, wow, I've never seen this story before, and this
but you could have
story makes me
issues.
think.
You could have these things where, like, I mean, the very beginning where it's like, okay, the druids are doing this thing and they're kicking out the tieflings, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that is like a big deal. Like, that should be like a focal point. But like, you could spend 50 hours before you, which I did before I even went back and was like, all right, let's wrap this up story wise.
Very dependent. Yeah.
In Alan Wake, it's like, no, you're getting funneled, and you can kind of pick and choose like how you go and different things like that. But like the way that they bring you into the story, like I'd be in her little mind place thing or whatever, where you're like looking at all your evidence and stuff, and like instead of just reading the pages, I'll like have them narrate it to me. Yeah, and I'll just like close my eyes and just click, and like Alan Wake is literally narrating like, here's everything that's been happening and stuff, and like.
That game's so good.
It's really like it draws you in narrative, like purely from a story perspective.
Yeah.
And like early on, whenever you talk to the diner waitress, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in so long," blah blah blah, and like says some stuff, and like you get this weird like just creep, like what? Wait, what?
Oh yeah,
and
they're gonna pay that off later. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
But like just those little nuggets of like.
Yep.
Oh, throw a line, and then there'll be one of those games you'll play years later and be like, oh, I can't believe they telegraphed this here. And yeah, it's really
no. I could see Alan Wake 2 winning for sure, and I wouldn't be upset with that.
Yeah,
just personally, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty was my favorite narrative this year.
Yeah, if you like DLC, man,
it was so good, so good. Anyways, all right. Next up is. Best Game Direction. So this is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Legends of Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of Tyler hating Super Mario Bros.
Dude, they're like Dave the Diver is better game direction than freaking Mario Wonder. I'm not saying Mario isn't like a fine game. Like, it does the platforming thing. But to say that has better direction than all these other indie games we've talked about and all these other, like, get out of here.
Dude, Sea of Stars has better direction than Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's good. Like, it's, oh, hey, we tried something cool. Like, cool, yeah. And, like, I don't know. I've seen all these reviews online about, like, oh, this cool little level, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I went through 2 worlds before. I remember seeing piranha plants. That was clever. That's cute. That was it. That was the only memorable thing I've done in that game. Whatever. Okay. Sorry. Stray all over again.
I'd put Stray.
Stray is more
I'd put Stray above.
That has better direction.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
Okay.
My vote for this is Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I think the way this game is constructed, it's like everything's so intentional and it's so weird and trippy, and it's just like, like you get some of these, like whether it's a movie or a game or whatever, it's like artsy fartsy, like weird and stuff.
Yeah.
But they do it. It's not cheesy when they do it. It's like, oh fuck, this is what is happening? It's like a mind fuck. But it's so good.
And it gets cheesy. Here's the thing, because like those videos where you have the 2 brothers doing like a come to Deer Fest or whatever on the TV.
Yeah.
That's cheesy as all cheese.
Yes.
And somehow it works and it's funny. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I literally played like the first 2 levels of Alan Wake or whatever, or the first couple of chapters, and I immediately went onto YouTube and spent the rest of my night learning what the fuck happened in Alan Wake 1.
Yeah.
How that connects to Control.
Yep.
How that connects to this game.
Yeah.
I just went down a huge route. I was like, this is like, I was in.
Yep.
And to be said, I think the direction of the game has a lot to do with that. Like how they present the story, just how the game's laid out. Like I love the mind bunker or whatever you call it, the mind room. I think it's so cool. I feel like a hotshot detective putting things on the wall. I love how they I don't know, just everything about it, just how it's constructed, and I think it's only going to get better, especially from what you're saying. But
like,
I don't know. The direction of the game, I think, is great.
And we're talking direction, right?
Yes.
So like there are points where you go into Alan Wake, you click on like a table full of papers.
Yep.
And you have to go and hover, and okay, I have to pick up 3 of these papers or whatever. And she'll pick it up, and the reason, and I think this falls under direction, because it's like, okay, this is a very, I would call it a slow burn game, more or less, because you're slowly unraveling this mystery.
Yep.
But it's these different actions of like, okay, hey, you go in here, you click on a piece of paper, she says like a 1-line thing, it gets added to your stash, and you can click on the next piece of paper. It's not, you click on a piece of paper and you have this giant dialogue of like, you have to just sit there and wait for her to get done. Okay, now click on the next one. Spider-Man, on the other hand, you're clicking on something, or you have to like just sit and wait for like this monologue to finish, or for this thing to interact, or like just all of these additional like animations and different things. And like, what was I talking about? Like, what game were we playing where like the animations were just like a little bit too long? Crap. What have we played recently? There was something that we just played before Spider-Man.
Not before Spider-Man?
Yeah. It honestly might have been. It might have been Final Fantasy.
Was it Final Fantasy?
It might have been, but there are these things where it's like, okay, I'm getting up, and like it's just like,
yeah, it might have been Final
you
Fantasy.
have the animation of doing this stuff.
Yeah,
and with Alan Wake, you have those animations, but it's quick enough that okay, you did this thing, you got what you needed. Now, if you want to dive into it, they let you, and you can get as in depth as you want or as shallow as you want, and it does not hamper the direction of the game. I would say at all. Like it's really, really, really well crafted.
Yeah,
but I think there's just a
and here's the thing:
there.
I could see Baldur's Gate winning. Like, obviously, the direction of that game is fantastic as well. How they
it's the volume, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much,
but the vision they have for it, where it's just constructed in a way where it's so well thought out, the different areas, what you're discovering and when, and how it impacts other things. They've literally considered all the possibilities.
Yeah.
Look, I could see it winning. I just think Alan Wake, that game just screams artistic to me. Like, just so, it's hard to describe.
Yep.
It's hard to put words into it. Whereas Baldur's Gate is like polished in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so polished. And again, that does come down to direction as well. But I just think like Alan Wake shines in this category specifically. Like, I just
it feels more novel, which I know is crazy to say because Baldur's Gate was novel in its own right. But like, it's if really you played original like Divinity, you
saw their formula.
Glimpses. Yeah, you
exactly.
kind of knew where it was going.
Right.
So while Baldur's Gate is absolutely like a more polished version of that, Alan Wake was just different. It wasn't like, you could equate it to your Resident Evil or your Dead Space, but it does
it's
more
a little
and better.
different.
It just
it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's its own thing. So that was my vote. And look, Tears of the Kingdom is great too. So I don't want to discount that. I just, I always give bonus points for a unique experience. And something that separates itself. Right.
But I don't like building. So
yeah.
Especially when you get like just inundated with like, hey, here's a TikTok of somebody creating a TIE fighter and destroying Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, dude, I can't put two things together. Yeah.
That is cool though.
Yeah.
Like the ceiling is nearly infinite.
Yeah, but does it make you feel like worse about yourself when you're like, oh, I'll never do this?
It's like the Fortnite syndrome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, finally, Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
The fact that Spider-Man and Mario is on this list is wild.
Yeah. Hey, they didn't put Final Fantasy 16 on here. That's good.
Yeah, I guess.
That's a bonus point.
Yeah.
Would you have been more offended if they put that on than, like, would you put Spider-Man on before that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's not the worst.
I think Hogwarts deserves to be in that conversation.
I agree. 1,000%.
Because
just what it does for the gaming industry.
Just me, right? Like gameplay wise.
Yeah.
I think
it was a good game, man.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
I did not think it was going to be that good. I was like, this could either.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, you have a game like Hogwarts where it's like, this is what people have wanted forever.
Yeah.
Since the books came out, right? It's destined to fail because the hype is palpable. And it's like, no, it was solid. It was a solid game. The combat was fun. The story was good.
Yep.
I know that like the world itself wasn't the best. It's kind of gets repetitive, but the castle was great.
Yeah.
The castle was like the important aspects of the game they nailed.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think Hogwarts was more distinctive than Spider-Man. And now hear me out, because I'm not saying that, like, obviously it's New York you're going around, but it's like, when you're swinging around New York, you're not like, oh, I am on this street. And we've talked about that, right? Where it's like, yes, if you've been to New York more and you're familiar with New York, sure, then maybe you can start seeing things.
No, you don't see it to that level, but it's more like buildings and stuff.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I thought, not to keep harping on Alan Wake, I thought Alan Wake was like, talk about sense of play. Like, when you're in the city, it's just like, oh, like this is a city. Like it's like gritty. Yeah. It's like man, that is a well realized city. And Spider-Man.
To be fair though,
it's dressing.
Way smaller scale, so you're able to
100%. But that's what I'm saying is like same thing with like Harry Potter, where it's kind of like here's just this open world thing, but there's still plenty to do as you're flying around and doing stuff. And I would argue it more to do than Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man...
The puzzles were better in
Spider-Man,
Hogwarts.
you had to stop. You always have to stop in Spider-Man. And I think that's the thing that I hate the most, is it's like, stop what you're doing and now do this smaller little thing. And like Harry Potter, it felt more integrated. And you like jump down off your broom, knock some dudes, like just murder people, jump back on your broom, fly through a bunch of rings, jump back down.
Dude, the sound effects in that game were really good too.
Yeah.
When you abracadabra someone, that hits you in the chest, man. That's brutal. And the fact that that score was not put on
100%. Yeah,
that was a great score.
Yep.
It really invokes the feeling of the movies and Williams' score. So like the fact that wasn't a nom, just wild to me. I mean, it could have been. Anyways, so I do agree. I think Hogwarts, Dave the Diver.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, something. I don't know, but
like I would go as far to say like I'm actually shocked that like Jedi Survivor is not on this list. Comparatively,
I guess.
I don't think it deserves to be on the list.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, given the other awards that people are putting out there, I'm actually surprised that it's not on here.
Right. No, that's fair. It's just, I think you're right though. For a year so stacked with video games, the nominations for these awards seemed like such a letdown for some reason, you know?
It just felt like if you were to go back, it's like these, you have Zelda, sure.
If you look at strictly through the lens of the Game Awards, you would think 2023 is nothing special.
You would consider it average. Yeah.
You would think like, oh, we have one or two games that are dominating.
Yeah.
And then sprinkles of other things. But
dude,
no.
Talk about best ongoing game. Where's Power Wash Simulator? They were freaking putting out Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy and like, come on, where's that?
That would be funny.
I'm just I don't know.
Hey, we're gonna be able to make our own categories.
I know.
You're gonna put whatever games you want in there,
and we're gonna
about whatever you want.
We're just gonna talk about the exact same games.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. So,
game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3. It's not even particularly close.
I think Alan Wake should be in that conversation from what we've played. Now, can it stick the landing? We'll see. But
it's not going to be better than Baldur's Gate 3. Just can't be. Can't be. What Baldur's Gate 3 has done, I mean, we're talking timer here.
Yeah. No,
this is an all-timer.
It's very good. You don't see a thing where Zelda comes and sneaks that out?
No.
Okay.
Now, I guess maybe I'm disrespecting the other ones a little bit. Maybe there should be more of a conversation between Zelda and Alan Wake 2, but I just cannot fathom a world in which Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't win this. This is the most slam dunk game of the year.
I will say it was it was slam dunk when I was playing it, and throughout the year, like I want to talk about a lot of experiences I've had that like I think the highs of certain games actually beat out Baldur's Gate for me. But Baldur's Gate as a complete package is very like that's a tough sell.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Baldur's Gate is consistent.
Well, luckily we'll have like a best moment or sequence in a video.
Dominated my life for like 2 weeks.
Sure.
Like every day I would play that for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I have like 200 hours in that game. Like it's disgusting. Yep. I would be up to like 3 a.m. I haven't been like that since like college. So like, you have a special game when you...
I mean, meanwhile, I'm literally laying in bed with Shadow Gambit running in my mind where I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Okay, I know this guy's here. I'm going to try to sneak around.
But that's the beauty of video games, man. Like, there's going to be different ones that speak to different people. Like for me, I loved, you talk about high moments. The highest moment I had this year was Final Fantasy. The Bahamut fight.
Yeah.
I was a little kid watching Dragon Ball Z again. I was a little kid watching Goku beat the shit out of Frieza on Namek while it's blowing up and crumbling with my mouth as a gape the entire time. The music's incredible. It's so ridiculous and over the top and anime and Japanese and awesome. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
That's me. So it's like, yes. Is it the best game this year? No. But I will never forget that experience.
Is a complete package. Baldur's Gate does a very, very, very good job.
I agree. Yeah. And it's going to win. It should win. This year has been incredible, though. And I'm really excited for our own conversation about this because I think we can really do a better job, I would say, of highlighting the...
I would like, if nothing else, I would like to have cooler categories. And I don't want to, I mean, now that I say that, maybe well, it all depends on time, right? Like on, like, let's
No, I think we have an opportunity to do that. And I think we should, because look, like we said, the critique of this is tailor the categories to what this year is. It's a celebration of video games in 2023. Mm-hmm. And you have to, it's always, every year is different and going to be unique. And how can we really highlight what this year did for video games and what came out this year? So I think that's what we should do.
Yeah.
And I think we could have some categories that are funny and some and like what I like what we did, and Game Awards never does this, is like more individualistic categories like best moment, like you said, or best character.
Yeah.
Right? I like things like that too, where it's like not maybe like it's a lot of genre stuff for this, which of course makes sense, but more individual aspects of games, because sometimes a game does something particularly really well.
Yeah. I mean, look, best rendered accoutrement of a inside of a whatever, which now that I'm playing Alan Wake, might be Alan Wake, but Starfield had the best rendered interiors.
Best coffee mug of all time.
Like Starfield did, like that's where the budget went. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I mean,
we should have best what would you even call that? Like
I would say best world clutter.
Best world clutter. Yeah. Starfield, and then like
Alan Wake is real good too, though. But
I think Starfield probably wins.
Probably it's cleaner.
I've never seen like a book in the background be so crisp.
Yep.
Where I could literally read it clear as day.
Yeah.
And then you go to something like Cyberpunk, and it's just like the world's worst coffee cup. Like disgusting.
Yeah.
But then you look at the character models, you're like, oh, they have their priorities.
It's like, okay, this is where
this is what a person looks like.
Yeah.
That's Idris Elba.
Well, I mean, it's really walking just the environment artist in Starfield was like, oh, we're releasing 11/11, cool, no problem, done. And then they're just like, oh, we're gonna push this another 6 months, and they're just like, oh, I need to keep this job, and then they just kept polishing.
Or it's like some intern is like, okay, you just do the clutter,
and
he's a
for
savant.
20 years, yeah,
right. And he's he's the greatest.
Yeah, we should do something like every game we've played gets an award. So it's like almost like a participation trophy, but it's like the Dundies, So it's
I see what you're saying.
Like best, like I said, like best interior clutter. It's like Starfield.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Just have a little something for everything.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That would be funny. We'll talk about it though. I'm excited. I think it'll be good. You know, we set out this year to play more games, be more conscious about it, respect the industry more by intelligently being able to discuss these things. And I think we've done a better job. I have I played 18 games or something.
It's a lot. Yeah, we had...
And they're all, most of them are AAA, so it's these are hefty... I spent a lot of money on video games this year, so it's look, I went all in. I know that you play it more, but it's, shorter experiences. But I was happy just personally. This is the most amount of games I played in a long time.
This is a year where I'm actually hard-pressed. Because, before other years, it's okay, I'll do my top 10, but, by
pretty
default,
easy.
Something's going to be on.
Yeah.
And, the more I play, the more it's it's kind of crazy where it's does Spider-Man make it on my list?
Yeah.
For all the other games that I played, where I'm just man, cool. this is how does Spider-Man make me feel versus other ones? Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think we'll come with our list and we'll have categories.
I want to rival Jeff in terms of.
You won't,
prep. Dude. I won't, but I want to.
He's on a different level.
Yeah, that's my goal. Is have some.
Does it for a living, so it's tough. Go check him out. By the way, What Killed Jeff?
He's starting Alan Wake, so
I'm excited.
I can't wait to watch his playthrough on certain parts.
I mean, I'm just gonna get bullied again for liking Final Fantasy, so it's okay because you two just hate on me for that. So it's I'm already prepared to.
You guys just come at it with a.
There's nothing I could say. I mean, you guys rated it an 82.
Yeah.
Which just bullied me down generous. All the way down. You think it's generous?
For how I felt playing that game,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
My thing is, if I start a game and I end higher on it than when I started it, that will stick with me. Yeah. Where with Final Fantasy, I loved that opening. I was in, and I told you as much. I was dude, I don't know what anyone said. This is awesome.
Yep.
And I just felt the intro of that game. Honestly, the best part about that game was the opening, the free demo that you get. That's why I immediately ran out and bought the game. Is because I was well, I'll let John play this. I played that free demo that Sony put out. I'm this is awesome.
Right.
And then I don't think I've ever felt as good as that opening sequence.
Sure. Hey, but everyone's entitled to their own.
Yeah, whatever.
Opinions.
We'll talk about it.
I can't wait to get my hands on Dave the Diver. Yeah, might have some thoughts about that. But anyways,
yep,
that's all we got.
It's a long one.
It was a long one, but there were a lot of games to talk about.
Yeah.
But Game Awards December 7th. We'll
Pearl Harbor Day.
My brother's birthday.
All right.
Yep. Never forget.
Yeah.
We'll probably watch it, and I'm excited. I always like doing that.
Yeah.
Reacting to things. So, all right. Anyways, check us out next week. Probably, we'll figure something out. But if you made it this far, we appreciate it, and we're gonna be here same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch.